Overcast skies and a national championship on the line as the DuPage Chaparrals will host their third consecutive national championship at the Division III level here in the NJCAA. They'll be trying to win their third consecutive national championship. Their opponent, the Rochester Yellow Jackets from Rochester Community and Technical College, as they are 8-2 on the year. These two teams met earlier this season, a 24-21 win for DuPage. Keenan Dixon is to my right. Keenan, we've got a lot of fun in this national championship coming up.
Yeah, this should be a ton of fun as we get rolling here. The atmosphere is electric. There's just a ton of energy, and we're deciding a national title here today.
Best two programs in the country this year. Statistically, it looks the same on paper. Number one and number two scoring offenses in the country, and they're top five in every single statistical category, offense and defense.
And the offensive side, the pass game for Rochester, Devin Watson, an efficient passer, up around the 60% mark in his completion percentage. We'll touch on him more. It's going to look different for DuPage with a different quarterback in there, Robert Brazil. How much will that impact DuPage's offensive attack?
Well, and that brings us to the keys of the game. A backup quarterback is certainly going to be one of the things to watch out for. The coach has mentioned some keys of the game. What are some of your keys of the game?
Yeah, you see them on there, limiting penalties. It's playing a clean game, really, for Rochester. For DuPage, fast start. Can they come out of the gate quick, get some confidence for Brazil, guy who hasn't played a ton at this level, and trying to get the start rolling, and then special teams. They have a great kicker in Christian Casillas, a guy who can hit from 50 yards and just about that range. So looking to see some really good football out here today.
National championship on the line. DuPage is looking to be the first team in the history of JUCO football to have a three-peat. Been a lot of back-to-back champions. Nobody's pulled off three in a row, and the Chaparrals would love to be the first team to do it. Rodrigo Castaneda from Richfield, Minnesota, will be the one to kick it away for RCTC. They won the toss and deferred their choice to the second half. Back to return for DuPage, Jaden McGill, the leading rusher and leading scorer on this team, and Desmond White, the two back deep, standing at the 7-yard line. Bjarne Ullsvik Stadium is the site here in Glen, Ellyn, Illinois. 60 minutes on the clock, and we will decide a national champion today. As McGill will field it dead middle of the field, work right side hash is cut underneath at the 20, and that is where DuPage will begin their opening drive, and with a backup quarterback in Robert Brazil.
And Robert Brazil, a guy, a redshirt sophomore. He's been in this program for a while, knows the offense, and he's coming in with a little bit of experience this season. 64% completion percentage, and a guy that can make some plays on the ground. 33 attempts for 112 yards rushing this season. We'll see how he reacts to the defensive pressure that Rochester is going to put in his face.
It'll be interesting to see how Joel Beard, the offensive coordinator for the Chaparrals, will adjust with the quarterback change. It's Jaden McGill in the backfield next to Robert Brazil. As they're adjusting it now they'll get Desmond White in the backfield. Brazil looking to throw a dump out for White. He cuts up the numbers and will only find a yard. Second down now for the Chaparrals. We'll go through the offensive starters now for DuPage. You've seen Brazil, you've seen Jaden McGill, you've seen Desmond White. How about Maddox Morris wearing the number 83, Braden Downs wearing the number 82 at tight end, and quickly across the line as they're rushing here. Give to McGill. He'll go up the numbers, has a first down across the 35 before he's knocked out of bounds near the sideline. But the chains move as Michael Coble on the tackle there. We run through the offensive line quickly. Ramon Fuentes, Alejandro Arellano, Jace Manuel, Demarius Stewart, Greg Fontanopoulos, the starters for DuPage on the offensive line as they work quickly despite running the ball, Keenan.
Yeah, not giving you a chance to catch your breath there and getting the defense to jump offside.
Yeah, and that's going to be a flag as they were trying that same motion they did earlier. There were two players in motion at the time of the snap. It should be an illegal shift, and a 5-yard penalty for DuPage will push them to the 35-yard line. But a first down already. Defensively, though, we take a look at the Yellow Jackets. Terrence Isaac Sr., the head coach. Antonio McKinney, a former head coach in Louisiana at the high school level, is leading the defense, and they've got a lot of big bodies on this Rochester defense.
Yeah, linebacker Martell Williams, number 2, right there in the middle, is going to be a problem creator. 22.5 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and down there on the defensive line, Mario Mendoza, 27 he's going to bring in a lot more pressure as well. A lot of big guys wearing little numbers, and they're going to be deceptively quick trying to get back there and cause some problems for Brazil.
Jaden McGill deep in the backfield behind. Now he'll step up to be the left of the quarterback. They give to McGill. McGill sprinting right, and he slips down behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe just a yard for McGill after he fell forward. In hot pursuit that time was Daniel Graham, the 6', 305-pound man with 4 sacks this year, and it's a lot of big bodies up front.
It's a lot of big bodies up front. They're packing in the box. We're seeing 7, 8 in the box already here early on. A bunch of Yellow Jackets right there. What's one way to beat that? Well, it's running away from the bad guys in the middle there.
2nd and 9, a lot of pressure. Throw to the out route is too high and incomplete. Intended target was Fabian Baez.
What they're trying to do now is just get Robert Brazil into some sort of rhythm here. The quick swing pass to start the game, the quick out route there. He was off, out of sync there with his receiver on the outside. Had to hesitate a little bit. That ball ends up sailing out of bounds.
White in the slot, and then all the way at the bottom of your screen, Maddox Morris. They're showing pressure, the Yellow Jackets. 5 down linemen showing 6. They'll bring 6. Brazil steps up, room to run, looking for the marker, and it looks like he got it. Yes, he did. Chains moves, a 10-yard gain for Brazil on the scramble, and DuPage into Yellow Jacket territory on their opening drive.
That's exactly what we talked about in the open. His ability to create plays with his feet. He's not going to be stagnant in the middle of that pocket. He's going to bounce around and create some of that offensive opportunity.
Yeah, Peyton O'Loughlin was the starter on this team before he got hurt in the last game as McGill gets the carries. Right side numbers. Big gain, 15-plus, inside the 30 for Jaden McGill. He's the leader in yards. He's the leader in touchdowns, and he's leading DuPage on this opening drive.
And everything right now has been to the outside. Nothing going toward that box of 7, 8 Yellow Jackets, just staying away from those large guys in the middle.
Brazil gives McGill. Pushes forward for maybe 2 or 3. I see a penalty marker down, and it's going to be offside. So a decision here on 1st and 10. You take 2nd and 6 or 1st and 5. You definitely take 1st and 5.
1st and 5.
Without a doubt. So not much of a decision there for head coach Matthew Ron. Ron is in his 3rd season. 2 national championships already. 28-5 record. Impressive stuff for him. His chaparrals on a opening drive march here in the national championship. 1st down and 5, 25. McGill just to the right. Snap Brazil. They throw to the man in motion who bobbles it and then is brought down for a positive gain. It's Braden Downs, the freshman, on the catch. He had 9 catches on the year. Catch number 10 on the season for just a yard.
Yeah, not a lot going there. The defense was able to sniff it out. They showed 8 in the box and then just bounced out as soon as that play was snapped. So a quick adjustment there from the defensive side of Rochester.
Demetrius Kelly will check in for Downs, who just made the catch. Kelly, 10 catches on the year. This DuPage team loves to spread it around. On offense, you'll see a lot of guys get touches. As now McGill will shift over. McGill getting ready to take a wildcat snap, and McGill looks for room to run up the middle, slips out of an ankle tackle before he's bear hugged down 2 yards short of the marker at the 20.
And I don't really know what the logic is behind that. Maybe setting something up for later in the game, usually second half type of gadget play that a team will pull out of the bag. But to do that on 2nd and medium right there, maybe not the best opportunity going right up the middle with the box of 7 guys in that defensive area.
3rd down, 3. Downs man in motion. They give to McGill up the middle. He's short of the 20. And it looks like it's a 4th down situation for DuPage, and decision time now. Casillas has a long of over 50 on the year. This is certainly in his range. And that looks like the decision they'll make here, Keaton.
And that feels like the smart one.
Unless they're
this
going
is an
big,
interesting formation.
going with a big package here.
No quarterback out there.
Yeah, old 2-2 setup. They go direct snap, and there's a lot of room to run. free towards the 1. He didn't get to the pylon, just short of it at the 1. Out of an interesting formation is Jamarion Dale from Chicago. The redshirt freshman had 360 yards on the year. He got the direct snap and took it all the way down to the 1.
And they're staying with that formation now that they're on the goal line.
It's about 2 yards short, and Dale couldn't handle the snap. He lost the football and luckily falls on top of it. That odd long ball took a friendly bounce. It was Ira Tullis who is in hot pursuit in the backfield on the bad snap. Breathe easy now, DuPage. Second down, almost threw it away there, but second and goal from the 12.
That is always a risk. You put a guy that's a little bit shorter than your quarterback out there. The center knows where the quarterback is, where his hands are going to be. These running backs maybe not so familiar with catching the snap.
Center Demarius Stewart just a little high on the snap that time for DuPage. Brazil will keep it himself after the fake. He tries to get outside, slips out of a tackle, and then is pushed down hard across the 5-yard line. So brings up third down and goal from the 5.
That's some of that designed run opportunities created for Brazil. A guy who can create some of those plays with his feet. We haven't seen a ton from his passing game other than some of the quick stuff on the outside, a couple of quick completions that have gone for about a yard apiece.
This is the opening march of the game. DuPage has controlled it for over 5.5 minutes. And now they'll use a timeout. Matthew Ron feels the importance of this drive, and it is an important one. DuPage trying to open the scoring in the national championship here on ESPN+. 12 plays, 72 yards so far for the Chaparrals on the opening drive of the game. The Yellow Jackets won the toss. They deferred. They're trying to avoid that opening score. Big third and goal here, Keenan.
Yeah, crucial spot here, and a spot for Brazil to show his offensive passing ability. Are they going to put him in a passing situation here with that third and medium?
Maddox Morris at the bottom of your screen. You see him right there wearing the number 83. In that pocket, Jaden McGill, Robert Brazil.
Yeah, and something, maybe a little trick up their sleeve with the two running backs, both offset to the right.
Desmond White wearing the number 22. Desmond White will now go out in motion. Fabian Baez at the top of your screen. McGill in the backfield. This is Maddox Morris in motion. They hand off McGill. He goes stretch left, cuts back, pushes, and won't find the end zone. He's 2 yards short. Fourth and goal. And a decision for DuPage early in this national championship.
And they're bringing out that jumbo package again that we saw on that 4th and 1.
Yeah, Jordan Rice Reno is the player to watch out for in that jumbo package. 6-foot sophomore at 275 pounds, normally plays defensive line, and now he's one of those fullbacks. They go McGill, direct snap, 4th and goal. Pylon, did he get there? Yes, he did. It's a touchdown for DuPage. It was awfully close. Didn't know if McGill lost control. But they say he kept it, and it's 6 points for the Chaparrals.
Now this should be interesting. He looked like he reached out with his right arm to try and get it across the pylon.
It definitely wasn't the most secure reach for the pylon I've seen, that's for sure.
And it looked like he didn't even need to. If he just lowered his shoulder, he is that bigger guy. He can kind of barrel his way in there. But either way, touchdown for DuPage.
And Casillas on to attempt the extra point as Jaden McGill picks up touchdown number 12 on the season. 10th rushing touchdown of the year as Casillas' extra point is up. It is good. 7-0 Chaparrals. We step aside. First drive for the Yellow Jackets in the national championship coming up next on ESPN+. $14 plays, 77 yards, and 6 minutes for the Chaparrals to take a 7-0 lead. They are looking for a three-peat. Would be the first in the history of junior college football if they were able to pull it off. And it hasn't been a necessarily easy journey for DuPage in those national championships. Last year, a 14-12 win. Year before, 34-29. These have been one-score games. These have been contests. They were in a one-score contest against the Yellow Jackets earlier this year. A great start for DuPage in their search for that three-peat. And kicking it away will be Casillas. The Yellow Jackets Ira Tullis, who has a kickoff return for a touchdown this year, wearing the number 43, standing at the 10-yard line. Imagine he'll be the one to step up and return this kick. We'll see if Casillas tries to keep it away from him. No, they'll kick it right to him. And Tullis and the other return man collide with each other as they didn't know who was getting the ball. And it's only out to the 23-yard line. I can't really believe that happened. Ira Tullis has a kickoff return for a touchdown this year, and his teammate tried to come over and take the ball, kid.
Yeah, that's a little bit of miscommunication. A little first play of the national championship for the special teams jitters there.
Looked like Jason McQueen was the man next to him that almost caused a horrific mistake that you can't have. Head coach and offensive coordinator of the Yellow Jackets, Terrence Isaac, said they have to play nearly perfect to beat DuPage. That was nearly the opposite of perfect. But it's Devin Watson under center as the Yellow Jackets, an 8-2 season and a trip to the national championship. This is their opening offensive drive. Watson under pressure, flings out a pass left. It's caught and breaking a few tackles after a stiff arm is number 88, Jarius Nicholson, the man to watch. 6 foot 165 from Red Oak High School in Texas. He's the leading receiver on this team, and they get him a catch early for 5.
And you see the quick motion there. Watson with the play fake, faking like he's throwing out to the right, spinning around, kind of blind throw to the left. This team does a lot of that to try and get the defense shifted around mid-play.
A lot of really talented players in the DuPage secondary right now.
We have an uncovered slot receiver.
Yeah, the numbers aren't matching up here. We'll see if they slide a safety over as they'll go handoff this time. Left side, trying to poke his way through is Raphael Manning, and Manning gets a first down. And there's a penalty marker down. Did we see offense? It's going to be a hold, and it'll come back. Good catch there, Keenan. I didn't see that flag go down.
It's kind of blending in out there with all that yellow from Rochester.
On the carry that time was Raphael Manning, and that's kind of the big story for this Rochester team this year was Christian Parrish going out for the season. He had 313 yards, 8 yards per carry, had 135 yards against DuPage, got hurt in the very next game, has been out for the season. It's Raphael Manning and Micah Hoban that have had to take the load. Manning had a first down run negated by penalty, now 2nd and 15. Two receivers split both sides for Watson. He'll take a quick dump off pass and cut underneath after just 2 yards. Is Jackson Hart on the catch, the freshman 6'1" wide receiver. They like to give it to Hart. They like it to give it to Walsh, but Jarius Nicholson is the one they want to get involved downfield with 482 yards on 29 catches. It's 3rd down and 12, and threatening a 3-and-out here, the Rochester Yellow Jackets because of the penalty.
And normally you come out early in the game and you have a scripted offense of 10 or 15 plays. Looks like Rochester has been not so aggressive in that play scripting right now. DuPage is sagging off on the defensive end with some of these options wide open.
Empty set, 4-man rush. Watson jumps over the defensive lineman. He's on the run at the 25. He's brought down by a gang of DuPage chaparrals. He's 4 yards short of the marker, brings up 4th down and certainly a punt for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, maybe just an opening drive by Rochester to kind of see what the defense was going to give them from DuPage. But it seemed like there were plenty of opportunities for Rochester and for Devin Watson to maybe make some adjustments at the line of scrimmage, seeing how the defense was set up and some of those zone looks that would allow for some of those quick 5-yard hitters that maybe you could hot route to.
Well, it's concern, though, because of the opening drive of DuPage. The fact that it's a 6-minute drive, 14 plays to open the game, 3 and out, you give the ball back. It's going to be a huge defensive series upcoming for Rochester here. And looks like a timeout had to be wasted. Yeah, didn't have the correct personnel out there. Timeout taken on the field. This one taken by Rochester. A punt comes up for them. We'll go ahead and keep it here and relax. You're watching the NJCAA Division III National Championship here on ESPN+. A little history of the Division III. These are non-scholarship programs. DuPage is arguably the best non-scholarship program in the country. All sports. They're searching for their 43rd national championship. Just this past year, they won 3 national championships in 30 days, Keenan. So what Division III is they took all the non-scholarship programs and they put them in the same division so that they could compete for national championships, because Rochester experienced in 2015 a 66-13 blowout in a national championship game going against scholarship Northwest Mississippi. So interesting to see how the JUCO level continues to develop and give these guys national championships. 4th down and 3. Oh, it's a fake punt right up the middle, looking for the yardage. It's going to depend on the spot. Rochester swears they have it. That doesn't look friendly, though, from the line judge. It was number 44, Caleb Waldron, who's got 2 touchdowns on the year, who took the snap as the up man on the fake punt. And they'll say he's short. Didn't get there. The Yellow Jackets and Terrence Isaac Sr. take a massive gamble. They roll the dice, but they don't come up lucky. And all of a sudden, DuPage inside of Rochester territory with the football.
So a little bit timid on the first offensive drive. 4 plays and not a ton happening on the offensive end, not looking to expose the DuPage defense. And then they go for the strike. It's the old adage, if you call a timeout on 4th down, you're going for it. Well, they sneakily went for it, and they almost came up just about a half yard short. But now you're giving a short field to a DuPage team in a game that could be a very low-scoring affair. You're giving DuPage a chance to go up 2 scores.
Yeah, DuPage, best defense in the country by points per game. Top 3 in every yardage category as well, and that's with some blowouts where they're giving up garbage time yardage. And a timeout will be used by Matthew Ron. And DuPage wasn't ready, so they'll grab a timeout. But a big drive upcoming. A fake punt failed by Rochester. DuPage trying to take a 2-score lead. You're watching the NJCAA Division III National Championship here on ESPN+. No. When I listen to Nance call the discipline he has to eliminate the amount of words he eliminates it's quite incredible.
It's like Joe Buck, too.
Joe Buck, like... Back here for the national championship, DuPage after a fake punt. Player to watch for Rochester. You see it on the screen. We saw the offensive guys, but now Williams-Mendoza on defense. They've got to step up here, Keenan.
Yeah, and Mario Mendoza, a guy coming in with 12.5 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, and an interception to his name on the defensive line. We talked about him and Williams, that combination of the two. 17.5 sacks between those two guys. Look for them to cause some pressure for Robert Brazil.
A lot of size for the Yellow Jackets, but they've been attacked on the wide areas as Brazil is ankle sacked. Brought down in the backfield, sprinting in to grab the sack is Mario Mendoza. We speak his name, and he makes a big play.
It's not the broadcaster's curse. It's the broadcaster's blessing.
Yeah, you're
right
welcome, Mario.
9.5 sacks for Mendoza now. We have to update that stat, but that pushes DuPage all the way back. I mean, a loss of 12 on that play, that's critical for this DuPage offense that really hasn't shown a lot of passing ability so far.
Brazil sends McGill in motion. Quick fire to McGill. It's dropped. Should have been intercepted. Leaping in the air and nearly grabbing it was Victor Martinez Sosa. The sophomore would have had one of the most incredible plays you'd see from a defensive lineman. I think he was coming down on a blitz there, Keenan. Almost picked that thing off.
And the defensive pressure kind of burned Rochester on that first drive for DuPage. Right now, it's a blessing for them, allowing them to get more pressure on Brazil and force him all of a sudden into this very long 3rd and 22.
And how about this Rochester defense backing up their coach who took a gamble going for the fake punt? They're showing a lot of pressure now on a 3rd and 23. They only rushed 3. Pressure right up the middle, though, Brazil. Got the throw off. It's completed just short of the marker. And then getting the first down, unbelievably, is Desmond White. There is a penalty marker behind the play. We'll see if it nullifies a 3rd and 22 conversion.
Wow.
And it will. It's a hold. So 3rd and 22 conversion is going to be turned into a 3rd and 32.
What a play from Brazil to create that offense. I mean, the pocket broke down almost immediately, and he had to step up and find an open guy, found his check down. And because they rushed, or they had 7 guys in the box, all of a sudden you only have 4 guys who were back in the secondary, and allowing that opportunity to go down and get the first down
Well, and what was exciting about that play, the Yellow Jackets ended up rushing 3 and dropping out, and Brazil still found a way to handle the pressure, which was immediate, which shouldn't have come, and then find a hole in the secondary when they were dropping guys in coverage. Now 3rd and 33, a long one. Brazil under pressure. He steps up, fires on the run, and what a catch on the dive, Desmond White. He is way short of the marker, though. He's just past the original line of scrimmage. But it sets up a 4th down and 9, 8. So a decision here, and DuPage in plus territory, they're going to go for this.
And this is interesting. They have Christian Casillas in their bag who can go out there and kick from this distance. Not going with him this time, but, I mean, what an incredible catch that was.
Desmond White laying out. I don't know how he made that catch. It was his 15th of the year, 2nd in this game. The 5'9" freshman had 3 touchdowns coming into this one. McGill to the right of the quarterback, Brazil. This is 4th down and 8. He's under pressure, slips out of the sack in the backfield. Eyes to the end zone. Whips a ball, incomplete. Intended target was Maddox Morris, and it's a turnover on downs, and the Yellow Jackets defense survives despite some miraculous efforts from the DuPage offense, and it's still a 1-score game.
And Robert Brazil showing why DuPage has gone with him in this national championship. If you're Brazil, you kind of want more from Maddox there. The ball was in the air for a while. I understand you're chasing it down, but you want your receiver to go and try and make a play the way that they did earlier.
Well, as good as he is running the ball, he had a lot of space out there at 4th and 8. You wonder if maybe he should have tucked it, tried to just get a 1st down, but he went for broke, tried to find Morris in the end zone. Would have been a backbreaker for the Yellow Jackets, but they've been gifted life. A gamble on a fake punt does not hurt them. Devin Watson back out on offense, 31-yard line, right hash. Raphael Manning the back in the backfield. Play action. Plenty of time, Watson. Rolls right, eyes right, runs out of bounds. Gets maybe a yard, and it's 2nd and 9.
Yeah, Brady Rogers running right back at him, doing exactly what you want the receiver to do. He was downfield on a long, deep out route and came all the way back, but Watson just protecting the ball. That's the most important thing, and that's what the coaches have emphasized coming into this game is limit turnovers, win the turnover battle.
Neither team with a official turnover. You could say fake punt, you know. That's kind of works as a turnover because of the turnover downs in your own territory. 2nd down and 9. Watson play action again. It's a screen pass. Manning looking for a block. Instead, he almost gets wrapped up by his left tackle. And it's just a yard, and it's 3rd and long for the Yellow Jackets.
And you need that left tackle. Gavin Layton, he's going out there to try and make that block. He's got to be aggressive and get downhill the way that a running back would and really push into that defender. If he does that, that play is sprung wide open.
Yeah, it almost looked like just one block for Layton to make and didn't know where that defender was coming from. It gets blown up, 3rd down and 8. Line to gain the 41-yard line. The Yellow Jackets have yet to have a 1st down. Over 30 points per game on offense this year. Watson, the leading passer in D3, fires down the middle of the field. It's incomplete. Double coverage. The intended target, Nicholson. Guy Goss was, and there's a push and a shove at the end of this play. No penalty marker comes out. It was nearly an incident on the backside, but no penalty marker was thrown as Jarris Nicholson pushed a DuPage player who fell to the turf, but the official says the DuPage player was play acting a bit, and it was normal stuff after the play. So no extra yardage there on a 4th and 8 and a punt.
And a tough look for Devin Watson. You want to look pre-snap and see how the defense is set up. They were set up in quarters. That opportunity is there. Then they rotate into thirds, and all of a sudden it's a cover 3. Guy Goss is sprinting out of there almost like a Tampa 2, and he's able to make the play on that ball and nearly pick it off. He's a little bit shaken up on the sideline here.
Penalty marker down. Castaneda able to pick it up off the turf and give a good punt that's fielded at the 38-yard line by Maddox Morris. And we'll wait this penalty marker. Looks like it's going to be on Rochester, so they might assess it at the end of the kick. And a legal motion, so they're going to have a conversation with the coach and decide where they're going to place this football. But defenses are going to come out. We'll step aside. This is the national championship. DuPage leading by 7 here on ESPN+. They're actually going to re-kick, so we'll take the break after the punt. As a 4th down, we'll move them back, and DuPage says, we'll try this again. Let's see if we can get this at the 41 here, Keenan.
And it wasn't a great kick. It was a short kick either way. So, see if DuPage can come out net positive after the penalty.
Sometimes this works out for the other team, though. It was a low snap, a bad punt from Castaneda. So 4th and 13, that's irrelevant unless they want to fake it again. Rochester's already failed once. And, another illegal shift. It's going to push him back another 5 yards. And this could really be helpful with field position for DuPage. And a lot of self-inflicted wounds in this opening quarter from the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, and clean football was the emphasis coming in. This is not clean football right now. There are jitters. This team is a little bit out of sorts at points. They need to kind of reel it in, and, they're coming up here on the quarter and a chance to do that.
And the jitters actually belong to DuPage that time. Thought for sure that motion was early, but they'll say it was an encroachment and somebody hit early, so we're right back to where we were, 4th and 8 and a punt. Castaneda, that was the best snap and the best kick he's had of these 3. Morris will come up and field the punt, sprint across the 50, and DuPage will start in plus territory for their next drive as we step aside. 7-0, Chaparrals. This is the national championship on ESPN+. National championship here on ESPN+. The Chaparrals, a 7-0 lead. It was a 14-play, 77-yard drive to open the game that ended with a Jaden McGill touchdown. The Rochester offense is yet to gain a first down, and we are underway for the third drive of the game for the DuPage Chaparrals. A lot of pressure being shown and pressure brought. Handoff goes Jamarion Dale. Dale stretches forward close to the 45 of Rochester for about 3 minutes, second down.
Just winning first down, get a pickup of 3, set yourself up on 2nd and 7. And for Brazil, that's really what it's going to take, is get him into short passing situations on 3rd down where he needs to make some of those plays. We've seen it already, where he can use his feet and his athleticism to get out of the pocket and create some plays with his arm.
Jamarion Dale gets the handoff out of the backfield. There's a penalty marker down as this is a tackle for loss. We'll see what the penalty is, as that was a gang of Rochester Yellow Jackets that swarmed the ball. We wait the officials' communication. And DuPage will get called for an illegal shift. They'll decline that penalty, and a good call. So a big tackle for loss for the Yellow Jackets.
And there was some miscommunication down here. Trips to the bottom of your screen. All 3 receivers were a little unsure with who needed to be on the line of scrimmage and who didn't.
So they've got to officially move that marker on the far side back. They will. It is 3rd down, line to gain the 39 of Rochester. Jamarion Dale in the backfield next to Brazil. They send a man in motion. Throw on the run, and they found a receiver. Catching it on his backside and going across the 35, close to the 30, is Ty Carlson. Haven't called his name much this year if you're a DuPage fan. 6'4", 180 pounds, less than 5 catches this year for Carlson. But a big catch there to get him close to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, what a catch by Carlson to contort his body back to where the ball was coming from. It was an off-platform throw from Brazil, and Carlson was able to turn that into a first down.
One of the big advantages of DuPage's program is the depth they have. They have so much respect around the country. They are too deep at every position, and you get a guy like Carlson who wouldn't even be on our sheets, and he picks up one of the big plays of this game. As now it's a quick dump-off pass right side, trying to slip out of a few tackles at the line of scrimmage, and picking up just a couple yards is Ethan Quay, another fresh name. And, you know, this is the thing about DuPage. They can sometimes be a broadcaster's nightmare, Keenan, of who's going to touch the ball in this game because they've got so much depth, and they spread around. Quay, who just made the catch, sprints off the field. 2nd down and 9. Handoff Dale. Dale wrapped up, bear hug, nowhere to go. 0 yards on 2nd down. It's 3rd and long for the Chaparrals.
And look, if you're a fan at home or if you're here in the stadium and you're kind of seeing those runs into just a swarm of Yellow Jackets, you're kind of wondering, why are we doing this? Well, it's really setting up for some of those plays later in the game and some of those third down opportunities.
Plenty of game to go. 15 minutes down, 45 left. DuPage a lead, looking for the first three-peat in JUCO football history. Second quarter comes your way next. This is the NJCAA Division III National Championship on ESPN+. Third and 10 here for DuPage out of the timeout as the beginning of the second quarter. Line to gain the 22. A lot of pressure being shown from the Yellow Jackets. They trail by 7. Brazil steps up. He's tucking it. He's running. He has the first down across the 20. He stops at the 10 and is spun down, but a first down for DuPage. That was their 24th play of the game. And they were dominating this one so much, Keenan. There's only 21 yards for Rochester on the other side. More plays than yards for DuPage. That's about as dominant as you can get in one quarter of play. And now they're on the doorstep of a 2-score lead.
And Brazil, again, showing that awareness, the vision to just step up and step over a defender.
Man in motion, tight end Downs. Brazil, pistol, McGill behind him, fake to McGill. McGill then gets that lead block as he's searching for room on the edge. He won't find it. 3 Yellow Jackets bring down Brazil at the line of scrimmage. It's second down and goal.
And here's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see less and less of 7 men in that defensive box for the Yellow Jackets, and that's going to create more opportunities on offense for DuPage to attack the middle of the field. We haven't really seen that today. They keep running it into the mouth of that defense. The defense is there to swarm. There's nowhere to go. We're kind of teasing the defense a little bit. Look out to see maybe something special here from DuPage.
Jamarion Dale in the backfield now with the quarterback Brazil. He'll drop back to pass. Back corner of the end zone, incomplete. Intended target was the Kenosha, Wisconsin native Desmond White. It's third and goal for the Chaps. They lead by 7. Back-to-back national champions, Keenan, and a 7-point lead. And for them, it's got to feel like you score here. It feels like a celebration might start on the sideline. And it's a home national championship game. You've won the last 2 years. Going up 14-0 would be quite a feat.
Yeah, their defense has done exactly what they've asked of them. They've given them plenty of breaks with these long drives on offense. But they've been able to stop this Rochester offense. And two-score game here in the second could be a lot.
They'll fake to Dale. Brazil jump pass to Downs. It's incomplete. Downs was the man in motion across the formation, and this time they're going to bring out Casillas. They had a touchdown earlier on a 4th down and goal from the 3 when they went for it. This time they will kick 4th and goal from the 12, a little bit too long for head coach Matthew Ron's liking. So we'll see Casillas will attempt officially a 29-yard field goal from the left hash. Casillas went to Eisenhower High School. We'll try to make this a 2-score game. Snap was low, good hold, and the kick is good. And it's 10-0. DuPage, 2-score lead in this national championship early second quarter. Yellow Jackets get it next on ESPN+. It's been all DuPage in the national championship. 10-0 the lead as the Chaparrals, the premier non-scholarship JUCO program in the country in nearly every sport, but especially in football. A 9-play, 38-yard, 403 drive that ended in a 29-yard field goal from Christian Casillas, who will now kick it away to the Yellow Jackets. 7 players have been drafted to the NFL out of the College of DuPage. As this kick is headed towards the end zone, it will be fielded inside the 5-yard line and sprinting across the 15 to the 17 is the return man, Jason McQueen, and that's where he'll stop. 7 players drafted to the NFL, Keenan. That is an impressive number for a non-scholarship junior college school, including 2 players that have made Super Bowl appearances. The Bengals' Michael Thomas, the most recent. The safety Michael Thomas. And actually, no, the receiver Michael Thomas. There was a safety Michael Thomas on that same Bengals team.
Correct.
So you can get confused. But DuPage, premier program and a premier start for them, 10-0 to lead.
Yeah, and it's a program that continually churns out talent, going to these Division I programs, Division II programs, and extending careers of guys and a chance to win a national championship. They've set themselves up very well here in the early part of this one.
Long road ahead for the Yellow Jackets. 7 offensive plays for Rochester, 10 points for their opponent, DuPage. And a whistle before the play. The back judge dropped the flag. Did they run out of time on the play clock on the opening play of the drive? No foul, okay. That would have been one of the worst mistakes you'll see at a game of this magnitude, to come out for your first play of the drive and get a delay of game. But it was a play clock error on the backside. So 1st and 10.
And really the way that Rochester has been playing so far, it wouldn't have been necessarily a surprise. They need to clean up some of those offensive mistakes.
Watson hands off. Manning, Raphael Manning can't find much room. Gets across the 20 for a yard or 2. 2nd down now. And really the missing Christian Parrish might be the storyline the Yellow Jackets fans will hang on to. He was injured the game after, so September 9th was the day he was injured. A week after this Rochester team fell to DuPage 24-21. They vowed that they would get to this game. Christian Parrish himself made that vow. He's not there to fulfill the promise. He's in the coach's booth next to us watching the game as Watson off his back foot completes it to Nicholson just short of the sticks. And it's 3rd down and short for Rochester.
And some late pressure there from DuPage on the defensive end. We really haven't seen a ton of pressure from them defensively. That's really Rochester's specialty, but this DuPage defense is a bend, don't break type of team. And we'll see if they can hold them here on this 3rd and 2.
The Yellow Jackets have yet to gain a 1st down. 12.5 remaining in this opening half. DuPage rushes 4. Watson, slant, caught, and room to run. Going down the right side, numbers 30. Brought down across the 25-yard line, Brady Rogers. The Sun Prairie, Wisconsin native on a slant route gets the biggest play of the game for Rochester.
Wow, just a quick look to the right side from Devin Watson to get the safety's eyes looking over there as well. Flips back to the left, throws it right behind the shoulder pads of the linebacker and finds Rogers, who does the rest from there to get him down inside, just outside the red zone.
And now at the 22-yard line, the Rochester Yellow Jackets after that massive gain. Watson looking to throw, quick dump off. Nicholson, he's across the sticks. The chains move again for Rochester as they're just outside the 10-yard line.
And all of a sudden, I talked about on that first drive for Rochester, the DuPage corners and safeties were kind of sagging off of those receivers, giving a little bit of cushion. Well, now Rochester is starting to expose some of that cushion and capitalize on it.
1st down and 10 from the 12. That was only the 5th catch of the season for Brady Rogers. He had 37 receiving yards on the season, 52 yards on that play to get the Yellow Jackets just outside the red zone. Watson under pressure up the middle. He underhand flips to Raphael Manning, who's at the 5-yard line. 3 chaparrals wrap him up. He's 2 yards short of the line to gain. What an awkward little throw there from Watson.
Hey, don't look now, but Watson and Brazil might be the matchup of the year. These two are creating plays, and Watson is really starting to show his ability in that quarterback position.
Yellow Jackets have shown a lot of guts today. A 3rd and 2 pass call. That's a 52-yard pickup. They faked a punt earlier today. They have not played scared. 2nd down and 3 inside the 10-yard line. Watson fakes the draw, and he's brought down. Play action, fooled nobody. A sack for DuPage. Initially coming in there, Kellen King. He's the one celebrating, the 6'2", 215 linebacker. His first sack of the season.
And it looked like a little bit of confusion between Watson and his running back, Manning, back there. I think Manning was supposed to take that.
It wouldn't have worked if he took it.
No.
That thing was blown up right away. So now a 3rd down and 9. And a capable field goal kicker in Castaneda. So this is field goal range for the Yellow Jackets. Their first down of the game came on this drive on a 52-yard 3rd and 2. Watson over the middle, caught by Nicholson. Did he drop it? No, he didn't. They say touchdown on the far side. DuPage is coming up saying it was incomplete, but it is officially a 12-yard touchdown pass. Devin Watson to Jarris Nicholson. It's been the combo for them all year, and it pays off with their opening score in this national championship game.
All they needed was a few plays back-to-back. Get that first down, get past that 3-play mark in a single drive, and all of a sudden this team has a little bit of offensive rhythm. We might have ourselves a very good game here.
Rodrigo Castaneda will try to cut this lead for DuPage down to 3 and cap off a beautiful drive for the Yellow Jackets. It's up, it's good, it's 10-7. Brady Rogers, more yardage on one play than he's had all season. Yellow Jackets trailing by 3 here in the national championship on ESPN+. Rochester was pinned down 3rd and 2, hadn't had a first down, and then Brady Rogers, a 52-yard play, more yardage than he had all season long, set up a touchdown eventually to Jarris Nicholson on that drive. What a huge play for Brady Rogers, and there you see Nicholson picking up a first down, and later Nicholson had the 12-yard touchdown that you're about to see. Devin Watson got it together, but it's that Brady Rogers catch and run on 3rd and 2. 52 yards on a play when he had 37 yards on the season, Keenan. Incredible stuff in a national championship game.
Yeah, just quickly exposing a defense that had one high safety. Watson smartly looking to his right, getting those 2 steps by that safety to move off of the slant, and all of a sudden it's a 52-yard pickup, and Rochester's right back in this game, and it seemed like they were kind of dead in the water for a little bit. This team is right back in it.
Brady Rogers out of Wisconsin, making a huge play for the Rochester Yellow Jackets as they'll kick it away to DuPage mid-portion of this second quarter. Castaneda with a big boot. It'll be Maddox Morris that fields it at the 6 right side numbers. Morris, room to run across the 40. Big stiff arm of the kicker Castaneda, who ends up with the tackle. Penalty marker down late after the play. And it's going to end up being on Rochester, as it looks like Castaneda or somebody's going to be called for a pull or a hold of some sort, and DuPage is going to move forward after the beautiful return from Morris. They'll call a face mask, ends up being the call there, Keenan. And so DuPage, after that huge drive from Rochester, will have amazing field position.
And as much as Rochester wants, they can't give DuPage bad field position at this point right now. This is a DuPage team that continually is finding a way toward that middle of the field, and they're setting up Robert Brazil for opportunities to drive this team down and score. Can he capitalize on some of these chances offensively?
Robert Brazil, the backup quarterback all year long. Peyton O'Loughlin had a player of the week, 1,400 yards, 16 total touchdowns. Brazil had to come in after an injury in the last game to O'Loughlin. In this one today, he's 5 of 10, 43 yards, another 24 yards on the ground. He hands off to McGill. McGill trying to drive up the middle. Mario Mendoza, one of the men that slowed him down for just a yard, and it's 2nd and 9.
So again, starting the drive off with just a quick handoff. This one not as successful as the last drive starter for DuPage. They got 3 yards on that one, just a yard this time.
2nd and 9. Brazil, eyes right, got him in, he's open. Baez couldn't bring it in with one hand. Fabian Baez had his man smoked off the line. It was Michael Coble in coverage. The throw was there, but Baez just couldn't run underneath of it.
It was so close to being a perfect throw from Robert Brazil. He just didn't get enough rotation to turn that ball over. Tries to float it up there, a little bit more air, and that's a touchdown. He could have really thrown that into the black letters down in the end zone.
Baez got to feel like he should have that one. A guy with over 338 yards and 5 touchdowns on the year. He leads the team in all the receiving categories. and he's wide open on a one-on-one, and that ball was within his grasp. Unfortunate for DuPage.
And you're taking that throw every single time. One-on-one, a big, tall receiver who can make plays, do that every time.
3rd down, 9. Fortune, though, for the Yellow Jackets. They bring pressure. Brazil takes the dump off, but falling down is Amarion Lynch-Gordon. Far short of the 1st down. And it's 4th down and 4 or 6. 4th down and 6, rather.
And that's the second time we've seen Brazil under some pressure, defense in his face with the pocket collapsing, and he throws down to the check down who's running across the middle, throws it a little bit behind him. Not so lucky this time to keep his guy on his feet.
Let's see what they decide here. McGill is back. Yeah, they're going to go for it here at the 35, 4th and 6. We've seen them go for it in this area before in this game. So aggressive here from Matthew Ron. Big time pressure. They dump out. Amarion Lynch-Gordon. No, this is McGill across the right sideline. He stepped out of bounds, though, at the 20-yard line. Jaden McGill on a screen. Moves the chains. And the DuPage offense converts another 4th down. That's their 3rd 4th down conversion today.
And the pressure brought by Rochester, we understand this is sort of their defensive identity, is to keep the quarterback off platform. But when you have a guy like McGill who could just dump it out and make that play happen.
McGill gets it again. Lot of room to run on a big hole. Mendoza with an ankle tackle keeps that from being inside the 10. But positive yardage makes it 2nd and 2. Timeout's going to be taken by Rochester as Terrence Isaac Sr. didn't like what he sees. 3-point deficit for the Yellow Jackets at the moment. And this is a solid timeout here by Isaac Sr. He understands the importance of this drive. If they can just keep DuPage to a field goal, RCTC deferred to start this game, Keenan. So we're getting to the point where they could try a double dip if they can hold it to a field goal. You want to keep this in a one-score game. A lot of positives can happen as we take a look at some of the offensive highlights for Rochester. Brady Rogers, the 52-yard play. That play on a 3rd and 2 you're looking at is the only reason we've got a football game right now, because when Rochester took over on this drive, they had less plays than DuPage had points.
Right.
So this response from Rochester is why we're in a football game right now.
And sometimes you can, as a team, collectively get down on yourself early in the first half when you see the score, what it is, right? You give DuPage the ball. DuPage goes down on a 6-minute drive and scores on the opening drive of the game. And all of a sudden you're facing a 2-score deficit. Well, a lot of that was due to the fact you only had 7 plays run. So once you get that offense going and in motion, that's when you kind of get the morale back up as a team, and all of a sudden you're right back into it.
Ernest Temple is in the backfield. Brazil tried to dump out to Temple, who was leaking out after a couple of fake handoffs. Would have been a touchdown had he got it to him, but it's incomplete and a 3rd down.
And that was a beautiful, beautiful play design on the right hash. The defense is kind of anticipating that you're going toward the field to the left. You motion a man across, and you just dump it out. You got to put that on your receiver. He's walking into the end zone.
3rd down and 3. Brazil, a couple opportunities for touchdown passes. Just a little too much juice. But he's played well, circumstances being considered. Taking over just last week the starting quarterback role.
We're seeing that shift again in the backfield.
They'll hand off Brazil. No, fake the handoff Brazil and then keep it up the middle is Ernest Temple. Temple, the Lansing, Michigan native, thought he would hand it off to the quarterback, Brazil, out of the Wildcat. A lot of creative offensive stuff from Joel Beard and his offensive unit here for the Chaparrals.
Yeah, really showing some of that creativity on the offensive side. Again, that's the way to beat a defense that likes to pack it inside that defensive box.
McGill takes the direct snap. 1st and goal. McGill dances and is diving forward across the 5 to the 3. So 2nd and goal inside the 5-yard line. DuPage trying to get this lead back to 2 scores.
It always helps when you have an athletic running back who is shifty enough to make some of those guys miss in the tight areas of the red zone.
McGill already over 50 yards rushing. Has a touchdown.
Uncovered receiver in the slot.
And you heard the coaches in our box to our right for Rochester. One of them former player Christian Parrish trying to call things out. They hand off McGill. McGill is pushing, and he's in. It's a touchdown for DuPage. Second of the day for Jaden McGill. And it's a 10-point lead from DuPage if they can knock in this extra point. Four-yard touchdown run from Jaden McGill. His 11th rushing touchdown of the year, his 13th total touchdown, which leads all of the Chaparrals. And Casillas on to attempt the extra point and push this lead to 10. Snap is back. It's good. Hold is good. Kick is good as well. 10 plays, a touchdown, and a response for DuPage. They lead by 10 once again, midway second quarter. This is the national championship on ESPN+. Chaparrals leading 17-7. They've been playing junior college football, Keenan, since late 50s. Never in the history of JUCO football has a team won 3 consecutive national championships. Been about 7 or 8 back-to-back champions, but even EMCC, who had a football TV show made after them, they tried to follow them in their year having that three-peat. That was the first season of Last Chance U, and they actually didn't pull it off that time. So what you're watching here today, the Chaparrals are trying to accomplish something that's never been done in the history of junior college football.
And they get the advantage of doing it in front of their home crowd, at home, sleeping in your own bed. A team that is dominant, and the ability to bounce back after that scoring drive from Rochester. Rochester finally breaking through offensively. DuPage just churns down the field and goes down and scores in less than 3 minutes before the end of this half. Is something needs to be said about it, and that shows the ability of this offense.
But Devin Watson, we saw some really good stuff from the Yellow Jackets on that last drive. If that offense is awake, we might have a real fun barn burner here. Key drive upcoming for the Yellow Jackets. 6:38 left in the opening half. They'll begin at the 25. Devin Watson so far today, 8 of 9, 95 yards and a touchdown. It's been a hot start for the leading passer in all of Division III. Micah Hoban, first time we've called his name today, went for motion backfield to slot. Watson, quick throw, bounced it. Nicholson, intended target. Penalty marker down late. We'll see what this marker is. And it ends up being a hold on Rochester. So what would be a 2nd and 10 will be a 1st and 20 from the 15. And that one on the left tackle, number 77, Gavin Layton. Saw him earlier on a screen get lost into space. That time trying to protect his quarterback, just got a little too much of the jersey.
And he's pleading his case right now. Nothing's going to change with it. It's 1st and 20. So now something else for this Rochester team and Devin Watson to overcome offensively.
Awfully big body, Gavin Layton, 6'6", 290 pounds. Empty set, Devin Watson. 1st down, 20. Time to throw. Watson up in the pocket. It collapses on him, and he's sacked. 2 Chaparrals got there. The initial hit brought on by number 55, Anthony Cervic, and it's finished off by Marquez Bonnie at 255 pounds, 1.5 sacks this year. Local kid, too, from Wheaton, Illinois. And that one was just more of a coverage sack there, Keenan.
Yeah, we thought we saw this Rochester team kind of figure some things out on that last drive offensively. They need another one of those big slant plays if they can find it here.
2nd down, 24. Snap is high. Watson barely held on to it. Would have been a nightmare. Tosses it out to the flat for just a few yards. Landing short of the 19-yard line was the tight end.
Look, everything has gone wrong on this drive. You start off with a holding penalty and then a sack and a bad snap You barely get it out to your receiver. He's able to get some of those yards back, but he ends up falling. Third down. Need to regroup here. Still a good distance to go, but a chance to turn this drive around.
3rd and 16. A hold and then a sack have pretty much ruined this drive for the Yellow Jackets. It'll take a great play here to continue it on. Watson. Eyes downfield, fading left, incomplete. Got lucky it wasn't intercepted as it bounced. 4th and 16 upcoming for Rochester, and certainly now a punt for the Yellow Jackets. Couldn't continue the momentum from that last drive, Keith.
No, that the hold will always be a momentum killer, no matter where you are, no matter what play of the drive it is. It's a 10-yard penalty. It puts you automatically behind the sticks, and then you add a sack on top of that. And all of a sudden you're trying to overcome something that really is very rarely overcome in a single offensive drive.
Castaneda will punt it from the 5-yard line. Back to return, Maddox Morris. Oh, the snap is low. It bounced twice, somehow getting it away. Castaneda, credit him that ball was punted at all. A friendly roll, too, for Rochester. And at the 47, plus 47 for DuPage, that is about as good of a scenario as you could have imagined when you watch that snap go back there. As we are in a battle right now in terms of Rochester's offensive line. They're getting swarmed. They have to hold. There's a lot of negative plays and penalties. A big play, 52 yards from Brady Rogers, is the saving grace for Rochester in this game. Otherwise, they'd be being blown off this field right now.
And honestly, if you're Rochester, you have to be kind of grateful that there were no turnovers on that last drive. Everything that could have possibly gone wrong on that drive, including the punt, and it's just all service. It's all issues that can be solved. And these are things that they're going to work on right now. They're probably having a very heated discussion over there on the sideline. But these are things that can be solved. You're putting more pressure on your defense. You want your defense to get a hold here and, at least force a field goal.
Yeah, the Rochester defense, it's been great up the middle. They can bring a lot of pressure, but DuPage has kind of taken advantage of, whatever your biggest strength is always your biggest weakness. So they're big, they're strong. They put a lot of pressure up the middle. So what has DuPage done? They've run stretch plays. They've run wide zone, and they've gotten to the edges of this Rochester defense. Huge drive upcoming for both of these teams. The Chaparrals a 10-point lead. The Yellow Jackets defense been on the back heel nearly this entire game. The game started with a 14-play, 77-yard touchdown drive. This is Dale off a pitch, and he's brought down by the legs. What a great tackle in the backfield by Victor Martinez Sosa. We've seen him flying around everywhere today, the Minnesota native, with a great takedown for no gain.
And you talk about the stretch plays to try and get outside of some of those big guys. Well, now we're seeing some of the speed of this Rochester defense.
2nd and 10. Brazil under pressure, steps up, brought down. Mendoza got him. 3-yard pickup, falling forward. It's 3rd down and 7. Mario Mendoza from Appleton East High School in Wisconsin. Him, Martell Williams, Daniel Graham, William Russell. A lot of the big bodies, Keyshawn Johnson, that make up this defensive line that had 40 sacks and was the second best defense in all of Division III. 3rd down and 7. Chaparrals were the number 1 offense in Division III. Brazil. It's a screen, dump off. Fegan's got it. He's got a lot of room to run. Willie Fegan to the 10. Brought down inside the 5. Screen play worked to perfection. And Willie Fegan from Gary, Indiana, makes a huge play for DuPage.
Rochester on defense going with the no high safety look, the bear front, and bringing all that pressure, trying to force something from Brazil. Well, they forced him to dump it off on the quick screen pass.
First target of the day for Fegan. It's a huge play. Rolling out right. McGill will keep it himself. He runs it in. Touchdown DuPage. And the Chaparrals strike in the blink of an eye to take a 2-score lead to a 3-score lead if they can knock in the extra point. 3 touchdowns today from Jaden McGill. What a day from him so far.
Wow. This DuPage team has been clinical on offense, even with a backup quarterback playing to his strengths and playing to the strengths of this team by going with some interesting sets down near the goal line.
3 touchdowns for the Chaparrals, 3 touchdowns for Jaden McGill. He's up to 14 on the season. And DuPage has a 3-score lead in the first half, looking for a three-peat. We step aside. Rochester, 17-point deficit. This is the national championship on ESPN+. DuPage, number 1 offense in the country coming into this game. They played like it. 24 points, 5.2 yards per play, 207 yards of total offense, 3 fourth-down conversions, 3 touchdowns from their star running back, Jaden McGill. As advertised would be the headline from this DuPage offense.
This team is showing why they are number 1 in the country and why there is so much hype around this squad coming into this game. Not worried about that 2 national championship curse trying to win the 3rd. This team is out trying to get another piece of hardware to add to the trophy case.
As this boot fielded by McQueen inside the 5-yard line. Sprints up the middle of the field, a lot of room to run. He gets out to the 30. Solid field position for Rochester to start this next drive. Yeah, and listen, it's 2 straight for DuPage, looking for a three-peat, but it isn't this is a completely unfair league. They're winning it by 4 or 5 scores, some stuff you would see at high school levels. In the initial year in 2021, the only loss actually to another Division III team by DuPage happened in the regular season to Nassau, right? They lost to Nassau, so they were underdogs playing Nassau in that original national championship game. They won that 34-29. They were underdogs in that game because they lost to Nassau earlier. Last year, they were the number 2 seed coming in to play North Dakota College of Science, and they had Graydon Buell, who is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, going against. And in this game, they only won by 3 earlier in the year, so it hasn't been easy hurdles for DuPage to climb. This defense has played so well today. Watson, though, gets that pass just beyond the fingertips out to the outside as Brady Walsh, first catch of the day for him, and the chains move for Rochester. Now, the one drive, they got a first down to start the drive. They ended up scoring a touchdown. Every other drive for the Yellow Jackets, it's been a 3 now.
Yeah, and keep an eye on Devin Watson. He's putting himself into some dangerous situations, and it's these full field reads that they're doing. He's looking left quickly or looking right quickly and then throwing the opposite direction. When you're doing that from the far hash, like he just did right there, to an outbreaking route, it's going to be a sign of trouble if you have an opportunistic corner.
1st and 10. 3-man rush for DuPage. Throw is too high for Walsh. 2nd down for the Yellow Jackets. It's been a solid performance statistically, though, from Devin Watson. 10 of 13, 114 yards and a touchdown. It's an awfully good passer rating. But it's just been too many plays on the field for the Rochester defense. And DuPage really knows how to wear you down, and they've certainly worn down the Yellow Jackets front. 24 first half points. Yellow Jackets do get the ball to start half number 2, so a double dip would be the quickest way to get back into this game. Watson empty, 2nd and 10. 3-man rush, DuPage. Steps up the middle, and he's sacked. Double bear hug there in the middle as DuPage's Emmanuel Williams grabs him first. And it's 3rd down and long.
And that sack is not on Rochester's line, although it'll be portrayed to be. It's because Watson stepped up in the pocket. There's no need to step up when you're facing a 3-man rush. Just trust that the pocket is going to protect you and stay there, go through your progressions, and make a throw. He stepped up there, found himself in a world of trouble.
This secondary from DuPage, so many elite players. They have a 3-star recruit that's not even starting on this team. That's how good the secondary is, and Watson's been experiencing that. Eyes downfield, he finds Jackson Hart over the middle on a crosser. Hart is inside the 30-yard line. The chains move for the Yellow Jackets. Great protection that time. He sat in there, he waited just like you were talking about, Keenan, and delivers a strike for a first down.
And what you want to see from your quarterback is some of those quiet feet. 2 plays ago, not quiet feet. He was trying to move a little bit too much. We always talked about this with Tom Brady and his career, his ability to be so great in some of those crazy moments in the NFL. Well, it's because he always had quiet feet. He was very calm in the pocket, making his reads, and would throw a strike.
Timeout on the field, minute 36 left. We're going to go ahead and keep it here. 24-7, DuPage in the lead over RCTC. Rochester last in the national championship game in 2015. It was a 66-13 loss. That was when it was all one division in junior college. Now they've given a separate division to the non-scholarship schools, which I think is such a great addition, just to kind of give everybody an opportunity to compete for a national championship under the same rules and circumstances, where before a non-scholarship school would have to play a school like an EMCC or a Fort Scott that is allowed to give out scholarships and just has a much different access to a different talent pool.
Yeah, and when you look at some of those other conferences around the country with these JUCOs, and the Kansas conference is always going to be the one that's pointed out as being the top of the top. Well, they do have the scholarships. They do have those opportunities to bring in some of those transfers from SEC programs and guys that are really getting those second chances. You told me off air that this is really a first chance you situation for some of these programs. And these are guys who are going to go off and play somewhere else after this.
Well, especially DuPage does a great job of taking somebody that might be the back end of a D2 roster, and they say, you come, play for us, win a national championship, and then they develop them size-wise, athletically, and now they can contribute when they go to play at a four-year university instead of kind of wallowing on the bench. And Matthew Ron and the program that DuPage has developed here, so special. Only the second year, though, for Terrence Isaac Sr. on the other side. His Yellow Jackets on the run as Nicholson tried to catch a bobble. He was unable to as it hit the turf. Pressure was coming on a first down. Good read from Watson, but an even better defensive play on the back end by DuPage.
Good read, but he had a better read with the receiver wide open. They went double slants on the right side. He had somebody coming right across the middle off the back of the linebacker that would have been a touchdown.
And credit Michael Gravely on the breakup. The Cleveland, Ohio native was a three-star recruit, actually started his career at Michigan State before making his way to play at DuPage. So that's kind of an example of the talent that's in that secondary for the Chaparrals. 2nd and 10 for Watson. Lot of pressure, open man, incomplete. Brady Walsh would have been celebrating a touchdown had that ball been left just a yard shorter. Instead, a 3rd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets.
And you need Brady Walsh. He gets inside leverage. He needs to stack back on top. Once he beats that defender, stack back on top. It's a straightaway throw, and it's an easy catch for a touchdown.
And so that's might be one of those, I think you're right, Keenan, where good throw by Watson in terms of where he was aiming. It just, the route isn't going to the spot he thought it would go, and so it looks like an overthrow or a misthrow.
Right.
Instead, more of a miscommunication. 3rd down and 10. High snap, Watson handled. Pressure backside, and then he's brought down. A bear hug and a huge sack from Nick Esposito.
A coverage sack from this DuPage defense. The secondary bailing out and getting into the eyesight of Watson, and really nothing there for him down the field. Smart, honestly, to hold on to the ball. You don't want to throw any sort of interceptions.
Esposito might be one of the few players that's underlisted from a weight perspective. He's listed at 6'3", 315, but eyeballing him, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 325. And look at this. Rodrigo Castaneda out to attempt an extremely long field goal. It'll be officially a 52-yard attempt. There's a timeout used by DuPage. We'll keep it here. Big kick upcoming for Castaneda as we approach halftime. 52-yard.
And Castaneda, during pregame warmups, was hitting around that 45, 46 range. We didn't really see him try anything further. So maybe he's done this in practice to have the trust of the coaches to make this call.
And this would be the longest field goal at the junior college level this season. Through Division I, through Division III, anywhere, a 52-yard make by Castaneda would be the longest that the NJCAA has seen, and would be massive for Rochester because they'd have an opportunity to get a defensive stop and get the ball back to start the second half.
And it'd be the longest this year in NJCAA, but it would also be longer than Christian Casillas's on the other sideline, his 51-yarder that he made earlier this season.
52-yard field goal attempt Brady Walsh is the holder. Castaneda has the most field goals of any kicker at the D3 level. This would be the longest field goal made in JUCO this year. It won't have the leg. Falls just about 3 yards short. No good. It's a touchback for DuPage. 41.3 left in this half. 24-7. DuPage in the lead. And, hey, not a bad effort. If that would have been from 48, it's good. Probably 49 even, it's good. But 52, just too long for Castaneda.
Yeah, no benefit of wind today, really going either way. So it would have been a pretty solid kick had he been able to finish that. Now you're giving DuPage the ball back. 41.3 seconds left. They still have a timeout, but this is an offense that has scored very quickly the last couple of times going down the field.
Ball at the 35-yard line is where DuPage will start. I use the wrong term, touchback. The way they do it is it goes from where the ball was kicked. He just gives the touchback signal when it goes in for a dead ball. Difference is 35 to 25. 10 extra yards there. Brazil drops back. Dump out, right side, caught Temple. Temple brought down by 3 Yellow Jackets. Initial hit made by Martinez Sosa.
And timeout not taken.
No, that time's still rolling. No timeouts left for DuPage. And they're kind of content with taking this to halftime. A 3-score lead. Don't want anything crazy to happen. Rochester starts half number 2 with the ball. And it looks like everybody's satisfied. To the locker rooms they go. DuPage all over RCTC. They lead 24-7. 3-score advantage at home, looking for a three-peat. Would be the first in JUCO history. We've got a lot from this first half to talk about. A 24-7 lead for DuPage. We'll be back for some halftime coverage of the national championship. This is the NJCAA Division III National Championship game on ESPN+. DuPage 24, Rochester 7. This is the NJCAA Division III National Championship game. The Chaparrals looking to be the first team in the history of junior college football to ever complete a three-peat. And they've been playing since the late 50s. And remember, let's take a look at some key facts about the NJCAA. For those of you that aren't aware, that's the National Junior College Athletic Association. 517 member schools, over 70,000 student athletes. And it's really been made more famous by EMCC and the show Last Chance U, which really brought a lot of key attention to the junior college level. It's one of the most important levels in collegiate sports.
And it's really cool to see what some of those shows like that will do, just elevating something that should have probably had more attention on it in the first place.
Well, college coaches knew about it. They were paying attention,
absolutely.
But more
those
fans
guys
came
make
to the
a
game.
lot of money.
Of course.
Getting players to go there from their schools.
And speaking of EMCC, they are in a semifinal on our ESPN family of networks today, 2 p.m. Central kickoff. That's right about 5 minutes. They are playing Hutchinson. That's a school from Kansas. That'll be today in the semifinal. And then tomorrow, Kilgore at Iowa Western in the other Division I semifinal. That'll be exciting to see who's going to match up in the Division I national championship game. Of course, you're watching the national championship between DuPage and Rochester. Let's take a look at some facts about the Chaparrals, which is a roadrunner, by the way, if you're wondering what that was. It's just another name for a roadrunner. This is the only community college in the state of Illinois that plays football. They had 36 consecutive wins from 93 to 96, 7 Chaps in the NFL, including a couple that have made appearances in the Super Bowl, and they're 14-1 against D3 opponents since it was officially made a division.
Yeah, it's a program that has just continued to show success. And, I mean, a couple national championships in the past 2 years, back in the mix and really dominating in this one.
Now, RCTC is one of the bigger schools you'll ever see that's a junior college. They're the oldest public two-year college in Minnesota, founded in 1915 by Dr. Charles Mayo. For those of you that have heard of the Mayo Clinic, the city of Rochester is essentially one giant hospital. I mean, it is the most massive, most wonderful hospital you'll ever see. I've had people that I know that have been treated at the Mayo Clinic. They say it is fantastic, and RCTC benefits from that. $235 million in annual economic impact. They are the state's first and only P-TECH program, The campus is massive. They had an indoor practice facility 21 years before the Cincinnati Bengals did. I mean, the Rochester Yellow Jackets, it's about as good as you can get for a junior college. 24-7 is the score. Let's take a look at some highlights from that first half. It was all DuPage. Rochester had one big drive, but it's the outside zone stuff for the Chaps that have really gotten the job done.
Yeah, the defense of the Yellow Jackets loves to pack it in tight, and the Chaps have just found a way to expose it by bouncing the ball outside, getting it to their guys who are faster than everybody else and getting to the edge quicker than anyone else gets there.
That's Jaden McGill. That's one of his 3 touchdowns he had in the first half. The lone touchdown from Rochester in that opening half was to Nicholson. A 52-yard catch by Brady Rogers on that drive was the key play, as we watch another touchdown from Jaden McGill. One of the few runs up the middle from DuPage. Them attacking the outside has really been the storyline all day, as we see another outside run that leads to a touchdown for the Chaparrals. For Rochester, it's been the inability to get off the field. I mean, the inability to stay on the field on offense. They have constantly 3-and-out, 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 other than their touchdown drive, and their defense is just facing way too many plays, and we're looking at it now, -7 rush yards in that first half from Rochester.
And a lot of that is due to the sacks. 4 sacks on Devin Watson. One of those really on him, just stepping up in a 3-man rush. No need to do that, adding to those -7 yards, but really just can't get anything going. And you point out right now the penalties, that's been an issue. This is a team that had probably the worst drive that you can possibly have without giving a turnover away, and that started with a holding penalty that pushed them all the way back into their own 10-yard line.
Have to play almost perfect is what Terrence Isaac, the head coach of this Yellow Jackets team, said. He's in his second year. They went 5-5 in his first year. They have not played almost perfect. They have been mistake-filled, and the Chaparrals have taken advantage, and they have proven their depth. They have proven their dominance in the first half. A 3-score lead in search of a three-peat, and they would do it in front of their home crowd here in Glen, Illinois, as DuPage will kick a low-line drive. It's going to be muffed, and there's a scramble for the football. Did the Chaparrals catch a break up 17, or did the Yellow Jackets fall on top of it?
Wow, what an aggressive play, and obviously some players fighting over the ball, and I'm sure some pleasant words being said back and forth down there. But to try and catch this Rochester team off guard, really trying to put the nail in the coffin by DuPage here to start this second half.
And they're going to give it to Rochester. They were able to fall on top of it at the bottom of the pile. It was really an unfortunate play for Jalen Gardner as that ball hit his fingertips on a weird line drive. It's like a squib / onside. It's a kind of an onside kick, but you're not really trying to do it. You're just hitting it to one of the upmen. Disaster avoided for the Yellow Jackets, and now they can face the true uphill climb of trying to make a 17-point comeback at a national championship.
And it all comes down to Devin Watson. Can he stay on schedule? We've seen a lot of double clutching, triple clutching. That's what gets you sacked. You need to make the throw when the receiver is open.
11 of 16, 148 yards in the first half. First play of this half is a handoff. Manning stretched it out left, picks up 6, and it's second down.
So finally a positive rushing play. They had a couple of those in the first half. Those negative plays outweighed those. But, I mean, you're winning first down right here, setting yourself up for a 2nd and 4.
And despite all those negative plays from Rochester, they actually had more yards per play in that first half than DuPage did. They just barely were on the field. The Chaparrals controlled the football so well. 2nd down and 4. Watson looks left, zips left. Caught by Rogers for a first down across the 50. A guy with only 4 catches on the season coming into the game has 2 catches and is the leading receiver for Rochester in this national championship.
Now we're going to see a lot more zone from DuPage like we saw in the first half. The zone defense right there in cover 4, sagging off on the outside part. It's an easy pitch and catch for a first down.
Rochester missed a 52-yard field goal at the end of the opening half. That was a lot to ask of Rodrigo Castaneda, but we kind of know now what they're willing to try as we move forward in this game. 1st and 10. Watson, draw play, handoff Manning, plenty of room to run. He's inside DuPage territory before he stopped at the 45.
So adjustments made at the half. We're starting to see some more creativity on the run game, running between the tackles, finding those zone reads and finding some of those inconsistencies in that defense of DuPage. DuPage is not a defense that will pack the box the way that Rochester does, So it is a little bit easier to run on a four-man front as you see this team have out here.
2nd down and 6. Manning just to the right of the quarterback, Watson. 2-step drop, quick throw, caught by Walsh right at the sticks, and the chains move. It's 1st down for Rochester, and the Yellow Jackets offense, if they just get that first down, they've moved the ball pretty well today.
Yeah, this is on-schedule football. It almost feels like they're running a script out here. On their first drive of the game, they did not have that rhythm that they have in this one. It seems like they found the script that they left in the locker room on the first drive.
DuPage also kind of sitting back. They don't want to get hit with a big play. They know they've got a great running game and a 3-score lead. You can give up touchdowns. If they just take a long time, you still might end up winning this game. 1st down and 10. Line to gain the 29-yard line. Yellow Jackets in the national championship for the first time since 2015. Watson, plenty of time. Zips one out of bounds. Walsh, Nicholson in the area. Hit late on the play, Devin Watson. He's begging for a call. He's not going to get it. And there is a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage. I don't think it was on the Watson hit. 2nd and 10 if the incompletion stands. But it'll be a 1st and 20 because Rochester held. Another penalty. That's 6 of them now for the Yellow Jackets in this game. And 6 with 12:40 left in the 3rd quarter. If you told head coach Terrence Isaac before the game, hey, you're going to have 6 penalties before the 10-minute mark in quarter 3, he would go, that's a major problem.
Yeah, and it is a major problem. And Gavin Layton, the left tackle, that's your dependable position. You want that guy to be trustworthy. It's his 2nd holding penalty. He's got to be a little bit more disciplined with getting inside the arms. And if you're going to hold a guy, get it inside the pads there so that the refs can't see that.
Behind the chains again, Rochester. It's been a very common situation for him. Watson on a 1st down and 20. Drifts left, zips left. High pass, incomplete. Intended target on the play was Cole Hermesh, who took a big hit after the incompletion. And it's 2nd down and 20.
That was a good throw. It was a good situation. He felt the pressure coming toward him from the right side as he's looking toward the end zone, and he just kind of backpedaled, found his guy, and threw it right at him. A little bit too high, but you got to come down with that catch.
Can definitely see the talent that Devin Watson has. He's the reason he was the #1 passer at the Division III level this year. 55% completion, 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns through the air coming into this one. 2nd down and 20. Brady Rogers catches on a screen. It picks up 4, and it's 3rd and 16 now for the Yellow Jackets. Watson from Utah. He went to Summit Academy while he was there. Very strictly a pocket passer. He was injured during his senior year, yet still found his way to play for Rochester. And the way he's played, he's the type of guy that you imagine another year of development. He'll probably be back with Rochester next year. We'll see what his future holds. He's a guy that could carve out a D2 opportunity, and we've seen that with quarterbacks that make it to this national championship game here in JUCO. 3rd down and 16. Massive hole for the Yellow Jackets on the scoreboard and the chains. Watson steps up left, fires on the run, too high. Along the sideline was Jackson Hart. It's 4th and 16. Watson gives a frustrated clap of his hands as he walks back to the huddle.
And for Watson, it's clear that he is uncomfortable rolling to his left off platform and trying to make that throw. Quarterbacks have their side that they like to throw to, and for him, the left side is clearly not that. We've seen that a couple of times in this game, and really that comes down to the defensive coordinator, Trevor Cipriano, who has NFL experience and understands, well, let's apply pressure to the right side. Let's flush him left so that he's off platform and create situations like that, and all of a sudden it's 4th and 16.
Cipriano might be the engine of this car. If Matthew Ron, the head coach, is the driver, there's a penalty marker from the back judge as Maddox Morris fielded that punt and brought it across the 20-yard line. And we're going to go ahead and step aside as they sort that penalty out. 24-7, DuPage, 17-point lead. They'll try to add to it. This is the national championship on ESPN+. We're going to actually wait and see what this penalty marker is. They might re-kick here. As the officials have a conversation. I'm not even sure. That was thrown, but the penalty marker is down at the 2-yard line, Keenan. It's weird to see a penalty marker thrown by that back judge on a punt. Maybe you saw one of the gunners holding. That's what I'm imagining would be the call here. 12 men on the field. They're going to re-kick. All right.
Yeah, it seemed like something that was at the snap. So he's the one that's back there doing the math, counting it up.
And so they elect to re-kick. See if they get these guys back out on the field. This is something that, it's new for both coaching staffs to deal with. Remember, our presence here on ESPN Plus means that there are media timeouts. So in a situation like this, you don't know whether you're heading into a media timeout. So as a coach, you don't know how much time you have, and then getting the guys back out on the field. It's not something they deal with all year long.
Right.
Where everywhere else in college football, it's just a part of everyday life of understanding how to utilize those media timeouts and get guys on and off the field.
Yeah, and to that point, those media timeouts do add a little bit of rhythm
So
adjustment.
Now they're going to go for this. So it went from 4th and 16, 12 men on the field, makes it 4th and 11, and they say, well, we're down 17, let's go for it. Watson rips one to the 10, and it's caught. Jumping and bringing it down, Brady Walsh. He's inside the 5. And we were ready to send this thing to a commercial break with DuPage having a 17-point lead and the ball. A 12 men on the field flag comes out, and then a huge play inside the 5. And on a dime, this game might just have changed.
So all of a sudden, 4th and 11 is automatic go-for-it territory for Rochester, and he throws it up on a prayer.
First and goal now, Yellow Jackets. They aren't done yet. Handoff Manning. He slips, is down at the 1. A helmet came off. Begging for a penalty, the man who had his helmet ripped off, Gigier Collier. He's got to come off the field with his helmet being removed. And it's 2nd and goal from the 3.
Yeah, so all of a sudden you have a backup offensive lineman in while you're trying to punch this thing in.
They definitely can't use a timeout. You need them all down by 17. They actually moved the left tackle inside left guard now. Leighton playing the left guard spot. The man that came in playing left tackle. Watson's just going to try to push forward. Little brotherly shove towards the end zone. They're short. And it's 3rd down and goal for the Yellow Jackets. The ball was punted away by Rochester, but 12 men on the field on the punt by DuPage made it a 4th and 11. The Yellow Jackets elected to go for it. Brady Walsh caught a ball inside the 10, and now Rochester has 3rd down goal. 3-score deficit, second half of the national championship.
And look for some sort of crossing routes on either side here. Maybe a little play action.
Watson going to go right forward. He's in. Devin Watson on a quarterback sneak. Puts 6 on the board for the Yellow Jackets.
So they go twins to the outside just to pull those defenders, the corners and safeties, out from near the box so they can't push back. And Watson easily gets it in there for the touchdown.
Yeah, and you see that push from Raphael Manning on the backside of it just to make sure that he gets in. And Watson getting excited at the bottom of the pile as Castaneda will come on to attempt the extra point. Just under 10 minutes to play here in quarter 3. Snap is back. It's a good hold. The kick is fantastic from Castaneda. And the Yellow Jackets looked like a punt and DuPage ball. Instead, only a 10-point deficit for Rochester on the opening drive as we'll step aside. This is the national championship on ESPN+. Live. 10 points, the lead for DuPage, but those Yellow Jackets bouncing off the sideline. It was 4th and 16. They had punted the ball, but a 12 men on the field penalty gave them a 4th and 11. They elect to go for that, get it. Completion of Brady Walsh inside the 10, and then a touchdown scored by Devin Watson from a yard out, and now the Yellow Jackets trailing by 10. a perfect start to the second half for Rochester if they wanted to complete this comeback.
It is a perfect start, and sometimes it takes a little bit of a gift from the opponent to allow that start to happen, but you still have to convert that 4th and 11, an unusual 4th and 11 from midfield. Now all of a sudden they can pin DuPage back and try and force them to have a long field for the first time in this game.
Chaparral's had a personal foul on the extra point, and that's why this ball is sailing easily into the end zone for a touchback. So 9:59. Just under 10 minutes to play here in quarter three. 24-14, DuPage leading. And now you have to ask the question of 17-point lead at halftime. You've won the last 2 championships. You're at home. Is there a foot off the gas pedal moment? 4th and 16 even. You go even further. You're about to get the ball back.
Yeah. Well, the college halftime is long. I mean, it's 20 minutes from the moment that everybody gets off the field. So it's a little bit longer when you think about it. And there's a lot of time to think, a lot of time to make adjustments for these teams. Rochester made adjustments on offense. Will DuPage make adjustments?
Could also be a lot of time to relax in the wrong type of way. We'll see what DuPage has on offense. Their opening drive, they give to McGill on a jet sweep. He came from a receiver position. He goes nowhere. Wrapped up by Daniel Graham, the 305-pound defensive lineman from Washington, D.C. 2nd and 11. That's Graham's 10th tackle for loss on the year.
And the defense didn't pack the box that time. They put 5 in the box, then walked another safety down to have 6. Now they go with 7, trying to stop this running attack.
2nd down and 11. Brazil looking to throw. He's under pressure. Got rid of it and brought down at the 30 is McGill. About 3 or 4 yards. Brings up 3rd and long now for DuPage. This Yellow Jackets defense, 2nd in the country, led by Antonio McKinney, who was a high school football coach in Louisiana before making his way to coach at RCTC. Handoff, right side, Dale, he won't get there. Big hit made on the play by Mario Mendoza, also coming in there to help Tyshawn Campbell. And it's 4th down and a punt upcoming for the Chaparrals.
And a punt, but maybe not a punt. We'll see.
We've been having some fun with punts today, Keenan, I tell you.
The way that we've seen this DuPage team pull the tricks out of their bag, and it's a deep bag. We've seen it down by the goal line. If you're going to ever run a fake punt, this is the opportunity to do it, to try and be the back-breaking punt here in the 3rd quarter.
Mason Wotas, the man on to punt. Micah Hoban standing at his 29 to return. Snap is low. It's handled. It's a great punt from Wotas. A spinning spiral that will take a friendly DuPage roll inside the 25-yard line. And the Yellow Jackets will have an opportunity with the football down by 10. So an absolute perfect start to the half. If you're a Rochester fan, you got the football back to start. You deferred. Go down the field, get 7. And now we're going to take a break. ESPN Plus, as the home of the national championship, can Rochester cut in this 10-point lead? The Yellow Jackets battling back. They trailed by 17 at half, scored a touchdown on their opening drive, forced the Chaparrals to go 3 and outs. Now they have the football down by 10. Dream start thus far for Rochester, trying to pull off what would be a miracle upset. Now look at this formation here, Keenan. There are 3 players lined up in a direct line on the far side of the field. I have never seen this in my 10-plus years broadcasting football, as they'll hand off to Manning up the middle. Manning is across the 25 to the 26-yard line. That's 3 yards.
It is interesting, and what's even more interesting is that DuPage only put 1 defender out there, understanding that they're probably not throwing to any of those 3 guys.
Yeah, because it's to the field, too, so that would be like a 30-yard throw just to get it over there.
But what Rochester can do now is know that they can run that formation again. DuPage probably won't respect it, and maybe they can run some sort of play as a tag off of that. We'll see what happens.
That would be a backwards, I would think maybe throw to the back
Yes.
guy. It's a backwards pass, and you can throw from there. There's a lot you could do there. We'll see if they get into that again. Watson, quick throw. Walsh on the catch. Gets close to the marker. They'll say he's a yard short. 3rd and 1 upcoming.
This looks like a completely different Rochester offense here in the second half. They are winning first down, making it a manageable second down, and giving themselves opportunities to convert on 3rd down here.
Well, they had the one penalty. They ended up overcoming it, but
Yes.
they took a penalty on the other side by DuPage on the punt to actually overcome that. If they've stayed clean, stayed ahead of the chains, Devin Watson's looked fantastic today. He's under center now. Watson will just power forward. They say, we're not going to mess around. We're going to take the first. So he crosses the 35 and the chains move. Halfway through quarter 3. Rochester trailed 24-7 at halftime, and there's a Yellow Jacket slow to get up. Helped up by his quarterback. Now he seems to be all right. Devin Watson had 148 passing yards going into the half. And they've started off hot in the passing game in half number 2. It's been all Yellow Jackets in this 3rd quarter. Manning runs left, then goes right up the middle of the field for 8 yards. And this Yellow Jacket offense, every play seems positive right now, Keenan.
In the sport of football, it's real simple. If you can control the line of scrimmage, you're going to have success because you're going to be able to run the ball, and that will open up the passing game. Right now, Rochester is running the ball at will. It's going to open up the passing game here for Watson, and I mean, look for it as soon as they cross midfield.
DuPage bringing pressure, and Nicholson with the drop, unless they call it a fumble on the field. Nicholson had 2 feet down. It's going to be incomplete. They're calling it incomplete along the far side.
And the near side umpire said that it was a
catch fumble, but they're going to say incomplete.
Okay.
So the line judge, you're exactly right. The umpire closest to the play was calling it a fumble, and it was fallen on top of by Rochester. But then the far line judge was saying incomplete immediately, the entire play. So they get it sorted out.
It was awfully close.
3rd and 2.
One of those bang plays.
I mean, that's one you're looking at replay, and then everybody's, making the jokes that they don't know what a catch is.
Right.
I mean, we were headed for Cliche City if we were in a replay situation there. Now 3rd and 2. 10-point deficit for Rochester. They've kind of snuck it up the middle a few times. We'll see if DuPage adjusts. Yeah, they're all going right over the ball. They hand off Manning driving his legs, and he's able to get there. What a great effort from Raphael Manning underneath that pile to continue driving the legs and get forward.
That is winter weight room work showing right there here in the fall. Pushing forward, constantly pushing those legs forward. You got to think back to some of those workouts probably in the outdoor facility back in January that set him up for that.
Well, and Raphael Manning, when he started those workouts, he knew he'd be the backup running back. Christian Parrish was averaging over 8 yards per carry when his season was ended prematurely. Since that point, Manning has taken over as the feature running back, with Micah Hoban getting some run as well. As Watson now back to pass. Time to throw. Fires Walsh. It's a first down as Walsh goes out of bounds inside of DuPage territory near the 40-yard line.
That's the DuPage zone defense getting away from them on that right side. A little bit of miscommunication by a couple defenders. Safety in a corner over there. Left a man wide open, and a good strong throw to the opposite hash. That's a tough throw to make.
17-25 now. Devin Watson, 220 yards through the air, a touchdown, no picks. He's been sacked 4 times. Draw play, Manning, following his blockers well, is able to pick up a solid gain of 5 on first down.
Look for a play action pop pass, something that will tag off of a run fake from this Rochester team. You're going to do it inside the 40, going in about 2nd and 5. This is a perfect scenario for it. One high safety.
2nd down and 5. High safety is Andrew Ewell. Watson rolls right. They move the pocket. Eyes downfield. What a rip. Nicholson catches it at the 25. Jarris Nicholson number 2 in the country in yards per game, the favorite target of Devin Watson. They move the pocket right, rip from Watson, chains move.
And smart by Terrence Isaac to just automatically get his quarterback out to the right. He could have set him up in the pocket, but that defense we saw from Cipriano pushing him to the left side, uncomfortable throwing to the left. Let's just get him rolling out to the right where he's comfortable throwing, and he throws a strike.
You can see the respect of Nicholson, how far off that corner was playing him as he just stopped for a first down. Just outside the 25-yard line, Rochester pressure shown, handoff Manning, and he's brought down. Esposito at 315 pounds used every single bit of it to knock down Manning for a loss.
Woo! That's why they call him a run stopper right there. That is the epitome of it.
I mean, that's big body from Naperville North, Nick Esposito. A lot of local talent on this DuPage team. Guys from Wheaton, guys from, as we just mentioned, Naperville, Central, Naperville North, Lyle, all over the place here in Illinois. A lot of pressure showed DuPage. Watson, end zone, jump ball, Nicholson, can't get it. Great coverage by Riley Dravitt, the sophomore from Wheaton. He was a DB at Drake in the FCS, played 2 games there before transferring down to DuPage, and it's 3rd down and 10.
And Dravitt smart to get his head around, had time with how high the ball was thrown and being, a 25-yard, 35-yard pass play. Gets his head turned around, finds the ball, and doesn't push any extra than he needs to.
The DuPage crowd starting to stomp their feet, and the bleachers underneath of us. 3rd down and 10. Rochester was down 17 at half. They scored on their opening drive of half 2. Trying to answer again. Watson ripped one. Walsh catches it at the 5 and backs into the end zone for a touchdown. A dart. Watson, Walsh, and it's a 1-score game.
That looked like just a simple smash concept or a flood concept on the outside. A couple of short routes and then one deep one to get behind the zone defense. Hole shot throw between the safety and the corner.
And a hole shot past Guy Goss, who is one of the best defensive players at this level. He was player of the year on defense a year ago, the premier player on defense for DuPage. He can't get the stop, and Rochester has all the momentum. Down just by 3, 2:17 left in the 3rd quarter. We've got a game. This is the national championship on ESPN+.
Live.
Trying to find their rushing yards.
14 unanswered points from the Rochester Yellow Jackets in this second half. Both possessions have led to touchdowns. 19-28 on the day. Devin Watson, 255 yards. That last drive, 12 plays, 77 yards, 5:38 off the clock. It ended with a Brady Walsh 26-yard touchdown, and Castaneda is going to be kicking this one away. And Rochester very much in this national championship game now, Keenan.
Yeah, they've fought back. They've controlled the line of scrimmage here in the second half. 37 rushing yards so far in this 3rd quarter, and it's come at the right time on first downs to set themselves up for good offensive drives.
Jaden McGill on the return here. He's kept his feet. He's across the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. McGill continuing to go inside Rochester territory. 3 touchdowns in the opening half for Jaden McGill, and the star man for DuPage might have just snatched the momentum right back. There's 2 penalty markers down late in the play. We'll see what they are. Jaden McGill amazingly kept his feet at the 20-yard line to continue on that run. You see him huffing and puffing as he's on the sideline. As we take a look at the return again, look at him keeping his feet. Unbelievable across the 30. It's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on DuPage, so they're going to move this return back. Unfortunate, too, with that type of return for Jaden McGill. And now a lot of undisciplined things happening for DuPage. And I ask the question again, you're up 17, you're back-to-back champs, you're at home, ready for a three-peat, and you can kind of go, all right, I guess we won it now. And Rochester's come out on fire. DuPage has made a few mistakes. Penalty on a 4th and 16 allows for a first down. Penalty there just nullified a great kickoff.
And it almost seemed easy for DuPage in the first half. Their scoring was easy. Rochester wasn't helping themselves, and now all of a sudden it's DuPage that's kind of shooting themselves in the foot.
Dale with a 3-yard pickup there, 2nd and 7. And football's one of those sports, Keenan, where once the momentum train flips the other way, it's very hard to turn it back. And so if you're DuPage here, this drive is massive, not even to score. You got to get first downs. You got to keep your defense off the field a bit. 2nd down, 6. Brazil. Eyes downfield. Rips one deep. Baez. Penalty. It's going to be a pass interference. Fabian Baez was trying to run away from the man in coverage. Had to pull him to stop him. And it is pass interference. It's only 15 yards. At college, it's not a spot foul, which is a major difference here. As unfortunate there from Tyshawn Campbell. Actually a great penalty because he was smoked.
He was, and part of that was him not getting his head around. I think if he was able to get an eye on the ball, he'd know that it was well over the receiver's head. Very much the opposite of what we saw on that last drive in the end zone from the DuPage corner.
The Baez would make an argument that if he wasn't pulled, he'd have ran right underneath that ball.
That's true.
You know, that's what he'd say to you, Keenan. First down, though, at the 41-yard line. And so this is where the kickoff was returned to. So this is kind of a fresh start here where it should have been penalties each way. Now 1st and 10. Final portions of this third quarter. Robert Brazil, backup quarterback all year long, took over in the last game for DuPage. He's had about a month to prepare for this. The handoff, Jamarion Dale, who picks up just a yard. A penalty marker is down late, and the line judge and the main official, I think, are going to get Rochester on a shove. The whistle had not blown yet, though, Keenan. So, interesting decision from the officials here.
Yeah, this is interesting, and it might be on 99 in yellow. That's Daniel Graham.
Yeah, they're going to call a personal foul. And so it was, let me put it this way. That was an extracurricular push. It wasn't a part of the football play.
No.
It was away from the ball. The play was almost done, and it was a high push, unnecessary.
And it was on one of the best defenders, Michael Coble.
Exactly. But the problem I have it with, Keenan, it was the whistle hadn't blown.
Yes.
So is that not just football when you're shoving a guy to the ground? It was close to the whistle, but that's a tough call for Rochester. DuPage will take it, though. 1st down and 10. Dale in the backfield next to Brazil. Brazil. Oh, he's hit as he throws. Is that ball out? It's rolling to the sideline. It'll be out of bounds there. What a huge hit on the play. Keyshawn Johnson came flying in for the hit.
With a little bit of anger, Keyshawn Johnson just flew in untouched. And Brazil had his man, beating his receiver. So look at the replay here. Johnson, number 10, on the defensive end. Just oh no.
He was unblocked that time, Keenan. And that's certainly a fumble as we're getting the re-rack here.
Yeah, that's awfully close.
That's awfully close. He might have got a throw forward. But they'll call it a fumble on the field, and we're not getting a replay review. 2nd down and 16.
A lookout block there from Fontanopolis.
Little screen, it's intercepted. Brazil just tossed it up, and nobody was there. Ball is picked off by a big man. And sprinting to the sideline with football in hand is Seth Thomas. There's a penalty marker down, so we'll wait for it to be official. It looks like it's on DuPage. Seth Thomas, the sophomore from Mattawan High School in Michigan, is the one that comes down with it. 266 pounds, 6.5 sacks. But this time he's on the hands team, baby, as he grabs an interception, gets a huge pick. As we watch it again, yeah, he cleaned that.
He did.
That's secure. What a play from Seth Thomas. And what are you doing? from DuPage on the other side.
And after a forgettable second quarter, they really forgot it. Rochester coming out here in the third, playing a perfect third quarter.
Seth Thomas, what a play. What a play. Mattawan High School's got to be proud. And any folks watching in Michigan, just watch Seth Thomas, a guy that you would expect in the defensive backfield. The offensive backfield. He dropped into the defensive backfield and makes the biggest play of the game.
And we talked about in the open how much Rochester is going to be applying pressure defensively. This time they showed 7 and dropped 4 back. And he was one of them.
Now Watson will try to respond offensively for Rochester. Can they take advantage of the huge play from Thomas? Watson, 255 yards through the air today. A wobbler too high for Rogers. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. But it's been a great day from Devin Watson. Really impressive stuff. 19 of 29, 255, 2 tuds.
And that missed throw really was started on the snap. The snap was off center, forcing his footwork to be off, and on a 3-step, no-hitch type of throw, 10-yard out to the opposite hash, it's going to be a little more difficult when your footwork is not underneath you entirely.
Almost good on Watson to not leave that ball short. Would have been an easy touchdown for DuPage. You throw that to the wrong shoulder. Watson going to hand off, draw play. Manning brought down by the ankles. Nice tackle on the play by Dominic McDonough, the Romeoville native. Was a red shirt on this team last year, so he technically has a ring, but it wouldn't feel like it for him. And it's a big 3rd down for the Yellow Jackets. This DuPage defense asked to step up after their offense committed the first turnover of this game. And we will see this play on the other side of the break. Quarter 4 coming up. 14 unanswered points for the Yellow Jackets. They have the ball and a 3rd and 6 when we return. Everything on the line in the 4th. This is the National Championship on ESPN+. It's been a high-flying game. Jaden McGill with 3 touchdowns. It was a 24-7 lead for DuPage, but Devin Watson on the other side for Rochester, 255 yards passing and a couple strikes, 14 unanswered in that third quarter, and only 7 yards of offense for the Chaparrals means we've got a ball game, Keenan.
This has been a fun one. It's been a tale of 2 halves so far, and we'll see how the fourth quarter goes, but the second quarter was dominated with 2 touchdowns by DuPage. The third quarter, 2 touchdowns on the other side for Rochester. And all of a sudden, they're right back into this one with a chance for some hardware on the line.
National championship. DuPage is looking for the three-peat. Would be the first team in JUCO history. Rochester looking for their first national title since 2007. 3rd and 6. Yellow Jackets down 3. A lot of pressure. Watson up the sideline. It's dropped. Nicholson had it in the breadbasket, and it somehow fell out. The quarterback was asking for a flag. The receiver was asking for a flag. Neither will get it. It's 4th and 6 and a huge stop from Trevor Cipriano in this DuPage defense.
I love the aggressiveness, but I think at times we kind of lose the moment in some of those plays. You only needed 6 yards there. Go get the 6 yards. I understand the matchup is there. It was a perfect throw, but get the 6 yards, extend the drive. You have a chance to go down and take the lead.
Under pressure, what a throw from Watson. Just a shame that his best receiver, Nicholson, couldn't come down with it. And this punt from Castaneda is a boomer. It lands at the 20, rolls inside the 10, and Morris will pick it up inside the 5. What an incredible punt. And the punt coverage is good as well as they stop him at the 15-yard line. And a huge field-flipping punt from the Richfield, Minnesota native. And there's another flag down on the punt. Oh, we've been dealing with it all day. I think we've only had 1 punt get off in this game without a penalty marker being down, Keenan.
I mean, they say that special teams is 33% of the game, right? Well,
they're going to re-kick.
Yeah.
Hold, 10-yard penalty, and a re-kick. And on a punt like that, that is a backbreaker in a 3-point game. And penalty number 7 on the day for Rochester. Actually, penalty number 8, 85 yards worth of penalties, and they've all come in key situations. Now it's 4th and 16.
They've limited turnovers in this game. Now, obviously, they've had some of those fourth downs that haven't gone their way. But
fake punt.
Right. But it's the other part of the game. It's the other key element, and that's the penalties. If you're going to kill yourself that way, I mean, it's something that Rochester is, even in this game.
Oh, and it's a bad snap, and it's over the head, and it's a safety. And DuPage just stole 2 points because of a hold. What should have been a punt inside the 20 turns into 2 points for the Chaparrals, and they'll get the ball out of it, and that is just unbelievably backbreaking if you're a Yellow Jacket. And we're going to step aside. What a mistake from Rochester. They'll be punting it away to DuPage when we return. This is the fourth quarter on ESPN+. Not often you'll see a coach list a punter as a key player. Rodrigo Casadeta was listed by Terrence Isaac as one of the key players because of how good he is at punting. A great punt nullified by a penalty, and then the play you just saw gave DuPage those extra 2 points to give them a 26-21 lead. Overcast skies here in Glen, Illinois. A national championship on the line between these two teams. Rochester now has to give it back to DuPage after giving them the free 2 points. A horrible series of mistakes for Rochester and kind of been the defining feature of the game for them today. Penalties leading to points for DuPage.
We talked about the perfect third quarter they played to get themselves back into this game with the ball. A 3rd and 6, that opportunity. Perfect throw that was dropped. I mean, you can go back and look at all these plays, but you need to make the play that's in front of you, and really you just can't have one of the 11 guys making a mistake out there.
And it's been different ones too. It's in tough situations, but still a 1-score game. Still moments for this Rochester defense to make something happen as White fields that ball at the 30 off the free kick, cuts up field 40, and then is slung down at the 45-yard line. Got tripped up. If he got through there, might have had a big play. But great field position nonetheless for DuPage. The DuPage offense only 7 yards, though, in this second half.
7 yards, you're working with great field position. They've only had, I guess you could say, bad field position once in this game where you're inside your own 30. So they had an opportunity to pin them back really deep off that punt. Obviously, the penalty nullified that. Now, DuPage a chance to make this a 2-score game and add some more pressure to Rochester.
Brazil. Under pressure, it's a screen pass to McGill, who gains nothing. He actually ends up losing a yard. Martell Williams, boy, it's scary watching a man at 244 pounds move as fast as he does.
Yeah, he moves real fast from that inside position and was able to get out there, spying the running back. Not often a linebacker can keep up with one of those fast guys in the backfield.
And Williams, 9 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, an interception on the year, and over 100 tackles. He's a do-it-all player on the defense. Fake snap as they look back over at the sideline. Plenty of time on the play clock. 10 seconds there. 2nd and 11. Chaparrals looking to be the first team in JUCO history to accomplish a three-peat. Brazil steps up in the pocket. He's sacked. Seth Thomas, who had the big interception earlier, grabs another big play and a sack. 3rd and 17 now for DuPage.
And it looked like Brazil was kind of thinking about trying to throw it away after that first contact. Smart to tuck it away. Give your team another chance here on 3rd down. That's all you need is one play. We've seen it so many times in this game.
And with that 6-yard loss, they are at 0 yards of offense in this second half. The DuPage Chaparrals. Morris, the man in motion. 4 men coming. Brazil whips one, incomplete. White had to go down to a knee to try to make the catch. It hit his chest plate, bounced right off. Punt for the Chaparrals. And would you believe, with just over 13 minutes left in this fourth quarter, the DuPage Chaparrals have 0 second-half yards.
Those adjustments, smart adjustments, strategic adjustments by Rochester have put them back into this game. Offensively, establishing the ground game. Defensively, keeping Brazil off platform, and now he's getting a little bit shell-shocked. You get some more hits on a quarterback, and he's not going to be as effective in the fourth quarter.
Mason Wotas, the punter, got it away. It's end over end. Fair catch made by Hoban. And starting just inside the 30-yard line, the Rochester Yellow Jackets. Down by 5. Can the Watson Show continue? Find out next. This is the National Championship on ESPN+. DuPage, Rochester, battling for a national championship. The Chaparrals leading by 5, but the Yellow Jackets have had 14 points in this second half, and they've only given 2 points from DuPage because of a bad snap on a punt. It's been all Yellow Jackets. First down and 10. Watson, quick throw, left. Nicholson, head of speed, picks up maybe 2 or 3. Penalty marker flew down. And probably a hold will move back Rochester. Really an incredible change. This was 24-7 DuPage at halftime. And kind of, it's a, actually hands to the face DuPage and a break here for Rochester. As they'll have the chains move on an illegal hands to the face. As this ball on a 15-yard penalty is going to be placed to the 46-yard line, a benefit for Rochester. 0 yards in this second half for DuPage after leading by 17 at half. And the only points coming off of a bad snap on a punt.
And DuPage was doing whatever they wanted offensively. They were driving down and scoring in 2-3 minutes. The length of the field. Now they can't really get anything going offensively.
Down by 5, Devin Watson. Handoff will go Hoban, maybe 2. Actually, it was Raphael Manning, not Micah Hoban. Thought maybe they'd get Hoban a touch. He hasn't had one out of the backfield today. It was a split carry duty leading into this game, but it's been all Raphael Manning today. Second down and 8.
And keep an eye on number 60 in the yellow for Rochester, Caleb Williams. He was getting checked out earlier in this game, but seems a little bit shaken up after that play. See if DuPage tries to exploit that, if their D coordinator has recognized that. Dial up some sort of blitz from that right side of the offensive line.
Second down, 8. Manning next to Watson. Watson looks left, firing Nicholson. Caught it at the 20. Jarris Nicholson, a spinning catch above his head that puts the Yellow Jackets inside the red zone.
They always say throw it to the spot that only your receiver can get it. It's a zone coverage. There's a receiver or a safety over the top, rather. That's a dangerous throw that's picked off 10 times out of 10. He threw it to the outside shoulder, had some space to work with. That's a big league catch right there.
Nicholson already with a touchdown today, over 500 yards receiving on this season. First down, 10 from the 19. The Yellow Jackets have been a swarm in this second half. DuPage showing 4. They bring 4. The handoff, Manning. He goes right side out of a few tackles and then brought down across the 15 at the 13-yard line. Jamal King, the sophomore from Columbus, Indiana. He was a champion on last year's team, able to make the tackle that time. A lot of these Chaparrals already have a ring on the finger. But they aren't just looking for a ring, they're looking for history. 3 consecutive national championships has never been done by any JUCO program in the country. Rochester knocking on the doorstep of overcoming a 17-point halftime deficit. Second down, 5. Line to gain just past the 10-yard line. Watson changing the play a few times. He has 5 on the play clock. Got to get this off. He does. Quick throw. It's intercepted. Jumping the route and picking it off and going into open space is Brandon Vines. Vines jumped the route of Brady Rogers. It'll make one of the best interceptions you'll see in a game-changing play in the national championship. Brandon Vines from Batavia. Redshirted last year, was a part of the 21 champion. He wants a three-peat for his school. And what a play by this DuPage defense.
Watson has thrown that slant 3 times already successfully today, including for a touchdown. Vines not having any of it, recognizing it, and jumping it.
And the Batavia boy was on the 2021 champion, used 2022 as a redshirt year, but you still get the ring. He's one of the very few guys that would be celebrating a true three-peat if DuPage were to pull this off today. And a 5-point lead and the ball, first down and 10. But this DuPage offense, 0 yards in this second half. They'll have to do it in response after the huge play. Brazil. Handoff up the middle, looking for room to run. Ernest Temple. He gets across the 25 to the 26, 2nd and 4.
And that's what's been missing in this second half is the run game. McGill, Temple, Brazil, any of these guys running the rock and getting them set up on a 2nd and short.
2nd down, 3 officially. Line to gain to 29. Under 10 to play, 4th quarter. Brandon Vines with a huge interception of Devin Watson. Brazil handoff going nowhere. Temple brought down in the backfield by Martell Williams. Called his name a lot, deservedly so. He certainly has a future in 4-year football somewhere.
Add that to his list of tackles for loss this season. 23.5 in that stat for Williams.
4 forced fumbles as well, another interception. A true do-it-all player on this defense. For Antonio McKinney, the defensive coordinator. 3rd down, 6. Can the Yellow Jackets D make another huge play? They've been excellent in this second half. They fake a jet sweep, then Brazil throws incomplete. Ernest Temple was the intended target. There's a penalty marker here from the line judge late. It looked like it was in an engagement from Maddox Morris and number 22, Keon Hunter of Rochester. And it looks like Morris is going to get an extracurricular penalty. He does. It's declined. It's 4th down. And DuPage's offense denied again. It's been a collection of 3 and outs for the Chaparrals. That was an eligible man downfield. Thank you for that clarification. And it's 4th down and 6.
And that makes the sting of Brazil's throw without any touch. Really, that's the difference of a receiver catching that and a receiver not being able to bring it in and run in space.
Well, the way Brazil played, it was becoming kind of a forgotten storyline that Peyton O'Loughlin was the starting quarterback of this DuPage team all year long. But a 24-7 lead, you kind of forget about it. You say, oh, they're a machine. They're just going to roll. As this one, a tough fair catch made on a dive. Saves the yardage. Great job from Hoban to catch it. Would have been another nightmare on special teams as we step aside. Yellow Jackets get another chance down by 5. This is the national championship on ESPN+.
Live.
Full crowd here at the College of DuPage, Bjarne Ullsvik Stadium, the home of the Red Grange Bowl, which is the national championship of Division III of the NJCAA. The Yellow Jackets trailed by 17 at half. They have the football down by 5, 8:33 in this 4th quarter. Devin Watson, over 250 yards passing. Looks to throw, zips one over the middle. It's caught by Brady Walsh. Plenty of room to run. He's inside DuPage territory, continuing inside the 30, where he trots out of bounds and gives a first down point. A massive play for the Yellow Jackets. 40 yards from Brady Walsh.
Just a quick hitter exposing the defense. Zone defense again from this DuPage team, allowing that cushion and the slant right across the middle. There's nothing DuPage could do to try and stop that.
And Walsh breaking a tackle there from Brandon Vines, who made the big interception earlier. 40-yard gain. 25-yard line. The Yellow Jackets have the football down by 5. Handoff goes Manning. Manning, room to run across the 20. 5-yard pickup on first down for Raphael Manning. Manning over 50 yards rushing in this one. DuPage, a 17-point lead at home, back-to-back national champions. A lot of teams and a lot of places would have just packed it in. Rochester did not. Terrence Isaacs Sr., the head coach, did not. And a team that's been led by his emotion all season long has overcome numerous injuries, are looking to overcome a 17-point deficit. Watson tosses, end zone, too far. Solid throw to at least keep it away from the defender as the intended target, Jackson Hart.
And I don't hate that play call there. I think that's a good time. If you're going to take a shot, you do it. 2nd and 5. Now you have a 3rd and 5. Presumably it's 4-down territory. They still have time. They're holding on to all 3 timeouts. So if they needed to, they could kick a field goal, try to get another stop. But this DuPage team still has that firepower that we saw in the first half. You really don't want to give them another shot.
3rd down and 5. DuPage crowd making noise. Devin Watson. Over 300 yards passing now. Looks left. Zips left. It's caught beyond the sticks. Cutting it back inside the 10 and brought down there. Brady Walsh. 1st down and goal, Rochester.
A perfect throw. Just a quick zip route. Gets the defender on his heels a little bit. And Watson throws it where he needs it. Has his guy, and he knows that Walsh is going to be there to make that catch every single time. 2nd big play for Walsh on this drive.
Walsh has been a really reliable target today. 7 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown for Brady Walsh. 1st down and goal, Rochester. Touchdown gives them the lead in the 4th quarter of the national championship.
Can't see them going slant again after that interception.
They hand off Manning. Manning tried to get edge, and he's brought down by Guy Goss. No gain. First time we've called the name of Goss in a positive direction. He had a touchdown go over his head earlier. He's one of the best defensive players in all of JUCO football. Player of the year on defense in 2022. Has been a statistical machine this year as a sophomore and a TFL on a 1st and goal there.
And if you're Rochester, you probably will have to throw at some point. The running game has worked. It's been effective, but you see how many guys are in the box there in green, really packing it in, trying to force you to throw somewhere to the outside.
It's been on the arm of Watson all year. He's the one that's led him here. It'll be on the arm of him now. He tosses to Walsh. Walsh trying to break a tackle at the 5. He cannot. 3rd down and goal, Rochester. And the tension raises. DuPage offense has struggled today, but they are certainly capable of running the football. And if you're Rochester, you don't want to come away empty here. You want to have the lead as there's a player down on the far side of the field. 26-21. DuPage in the lead. We flash you back to how we got to this score. It was 24-7 at halftime. Rochester got the ball to start the 2nd half. Touchdown, forced a 3 and out. Touchdown. Then on a punt, that snap went over the head of the player, and that led to a safety to make it 26-21. And now Rochester on a drive after the teams traded possessions a few times here in the 4th quarter.
And it looks like it's Guy Goss.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Down on the field.
Guy Goss, 2022 Defensive Player of the Year, Hinsdale Central High School. As he is getting up and walking off on his own power, that's great to see. A key piece on this DuPage defense. Glad to see him healthy, but now we talk the football aspects of it, is that your best defensive player is probably going to be off the field on a 3rd down and goal, arguably the most important down of the season for DuPage.
So now, for Rochester, going to be looking to attack that spot that Goss is playing. And
looked like Michael Gravely came in. Gravely, of course, that Michigan State commit that transferred down to DuPage. He was a 3-star recruit coming out.
Just so much depth in this DuPage team.
Yeah, it's like, well, the Defensive Player of the Year just came off. Here's a guy that was recruited by Mel Tucker. 3rd down and goal, Devin Watson. 348 yards and 2 touchdowns from the freshman gunslinger. The handoff, middle, pushing. Did he get there? Depends on the spot. You hear the Rochester coaches saying touchdown, and it is. It's a touchdown. and a lead for the Yellow Jackets. Mr. Manning punches it in. Second touchdown, first touchdown of the day for Raphael Manning. Are they going to go for two is the question. With a 1-point lead, they should. And they're going to go for it here. And the Raphael Manning, the story of the season for the Yellow Jackets. The loudest person in the press box after that play was Christian Parrish, who's in the press box to our right. He was averaging 8 yards a carry and had a $135 against DuPage earlier in the year. His season ended a week later on an injury. Manning took over along with Hoban. They carried the load. They fulfilled the promise that they would see DuPage again in the national championship. Coaches, players all said after that loss, we will see them again. They have seen them and they lead them. And it's a penalty marker on the 2-point conversion. So they'll back it up 5 yards for another try.
Wow, what a game this has been. We'll see what the call is here. But Rochester's resilience to bounce back during that 20-minute break at the turn, come back out.
Well, and you got to credit the emotional leadership from Terrence Isaac Sr. I mean, this is a guy that spent time in NFL camps with Dallas and Kansas City. He played arena football. He was a state champion, born in Cleveland. He was an All-American 1997 at the JUCO level. And in 2008, he started a nonprofit that still runs today called Dad for Life. An emotional leader through and through. The head coach of this team, Terrence Isaac Sr., their emotions didn't get down at all. They didn't hang their head. They even had a safety on a bad snap on a punt. They still have responded. They lead now in the national championship. A prophecy potentially being fulfilled against what seemed insurmountable odds. Watson will try to make this a 3-point game on the 2-point conversion from the 9. Nicholson, the man in motion. Watson rolling left, eyes, end zone, zips it. Back corner, he caught it. 2-point conversion is good. Jackson Hart got the feet in. And it's a 3-point lead for the Yellow Jackets late in the fourth quarter. They have completed a 17-point comeback, and now their defense will try to gift them a national championship. DuPage on the ropes. This is JUCO football on ESPN+. The Yellow Jackets have stormed all the way back to lead in this national championship. After the first quarter of play, DuPage had more points than Rochester had plays. A 17-point comeback has been completed by the Yellow Jackets. They lead by 3. Devin Watson, 348 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game, leading the way. And now the Chaparrals, with 4 offensive yards in this second half, are going to need to score if they want to be the first team in the history of the NJCAA to complete a three-peat.
Watson has been surgical in this second half. It has been a tale of two halves. Still 5 minutes to go in this one. Can DuPage answer back in front of their home crowd?
We've had a blast on ESPN Plus, so we're nowhere near done as Jaden McGill right up the middle of the field across the 35-40. Jaden McGill trying to answer right away. He does with a huge return, and a hit that is late will put this thing inside the 30-yard line. McGill with 3 touchdowns and some massive plays, and that might be the biggest of them all.
It can be so tough for a team when you have to overcome this insurmountable mountain to come back and retake the lead. You finally take the lead, and sometimes you exhale a little bit as a team collectively. And when you exhale, those mental mistakes happen. Not covering well on the kickoff, and the late hit giving another 15 yards to this DuPage team.
Now, a positive you can spin if you're Rochester, if you want to be a, optimist Ollie, or whatever you want to call it, is if they're going to score, at least they'll score quick, and you've got some time to work the other way. But DuPage is hyped up after the huge return from McGill. They trail by 3, looking to be the first team in the history of junior college football to win 3 consecutive national championships. The handoff goes Jamarion Dale. He fumbled. The ball is out. Who's got it? No, they're saying he's down. Line judge will say he's down. Keyshawn Johnson came out of the pile with the ball. I really don't think he was down. That ball felt like it was out. But linesman came in and said, yes, he was. Let's take another look at it. Oh, wow. That angle makes it look.
That is awfully close.
Yeah, it's going to be about whether his back hit the ground or not. That's kind of what you're looking at here. Is the ball out there? I think it is.
I think it is.
I think that's a bad call from the lines judge. A break for DuPage. They'll take it. Brazil. Quick throw out. Caught by Kelly. He's short of the 15, but a first down.
And the man that was out there to make that tackle, defensive lineman Mario Mendoza.
Wow.
Getting out there.
Those guys can move. Woo. Mendoza, Williams, both over 240. Might be the fastest two defenders outside of the defensive backs on the field. Under 4 to play, fourth quarter, in what's been a classic national championship game. A beautiful showcase of the NJCAA. Brazil sends downs in motion. Snap is low. Give to Temple. Trying to bounce outside. Slipped out of one tackle and then brought down by a pair of Yellow Jackets just short of the 10.
And the clock continuing to run. DuPage kind of wants the clock to run out, but they also want to score before that happens. Rochester wanting just the opposite.
And this is easy field goal range for DuPage. We've seen them make a field goal already today. Brazil, handoff Temple. Ernest Temple across the 10. They'll say it's the 9-yard line for a 3rd and 2. And a timeout will be taken by the Yellow Jackets. 29-26. Rochester leads, 3 minutes left in this fourth quarter in what has been a wonderful showcase of college football. In the sport of college football, there's only, I believe, 9 national champions named. If you go NCAA, NAIA, and the NJCAA, there's 9 national champions named. So if you think about how rare of a feat it is to become a national champion, it makes plays like this, the touchdown from Manning, the 2-point conversion from Watson, and the magnitude of these plays of what you can remember for the rest of your life. I mean, how many people get to say, I was a national champion in college? You know, forget the levels, forget the divisions, forget the monikers. This is a national championship game, and these two teams have played like it.
And the atmosphere has felt like it. Everything about this has lived up to it. And the thing about good teams is that when they're down, they always find a way back. Good teams in big games always find a way back. That's why it's so rare to see a blowout in a game like this. The fight, the resilience from Rochester has been incredible. DuPage answering back mid-half now with that big return, getting the gift of the 15 extra yards, and now they're within striking distance of retaking the lead here inside of 3 minutes.
Bjarne Ullsvik Stadium has been a wonderful host. The fans here have been treated to a classic, but they want to be treated to a three-peat. 3rd down and 3. DuPage showing that formation they showed us in the first half, a power set where they'll snap it direct to Glen. They've got blockers out in front. Call it a jumbo package, if you will. Penalty marker down, and it's a false start. Push him back. 3rd down and 3 becomes a 3rd down and 8. A critical mistake from the Chaparrals.
That false start is the one penalty that you can always control. It's on you to not go until that ball is snapped, and you can't do anything until it's snapped. That's a killer right there, especially coming out of the timeout. You need all 11 to be on the same page.
3rd down and 8, and this is not 2-down territory. They will be trying to tie this game if it's 4th down and 8. Maybe have a conversation at 4th and short. Brazil fakes to McGill. He's looking end zone, rips it short of the end zone where it's caught for a first down. Maddox Morris able to hold on to a huge throw from Robert Brazil. 1st and goal, and now they bring that power set back in.
And now as we get closer here, Rochester should be considering taking timeouts.
They have all 3 left, 2:45 left. 2 timeouts left for Rochester, rather. McGill takes the direct snap, going to be denied right at the line. Initial hit made by Daniel Graham. Second down, goal. 2:28 left.
Rochester just letting this play run out. Play clock, not stopping the clock. This is, again, strategically very interesting.
Well, 2 timeouts. You definitely want to save at least one of the timeouts. I know that Isaac would love to have all 3. But he's already had to burn one on the defensive series. Minute 50 left, quarter 4. Second and goal. Handoff McGill, he's running backwards, he's brought down behind the line. Keyshawn Johnson with the tackle for loss. Some extracurriculars, no penalty markers down. Great job by the officials here to control this. No reason to decide a national championship on something like that. Clock is still ticking, under a minute 30 to go. Keyshawn Johnson from Alabama was able to wrap down McGill, who's got 3 touchdowns in this game.
And good on Keyshawn Johnson to not fully grab on to that horse collar. It was very close. He was able to just get a quick grip and then go and make the tackle. Not to give up that 15 yards or that half the distance to the goal in this situation.
Minute 16 left. And they're going to have a conversation about, Matthew Ron was pointing at the clock.
Yeah, the clock stopped at 1:16 here in the stadium, so not exactly sure what happened there. Play clock is at 8, also stopped. As all the officials come together for a little seminar.
Well, let's reset it for you. Third down and goal now. Rochester trailed 24-7 at half and took their first lead of the game on a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to make it 29-26. DuPage is the 2-time defending national champion looking for a 3-peat. They'll have third and goal inside the 20. 2 timeouts remain for Rochester. 3 timeouts remain for DuPage. It was a kickoff return by Jaden McGill of 49 yards, and then a 15-yard late hit penalty added onto that set up DuPage in the situation they're currently in. The 1:16 is where the game clock will be. They're going to put 5 seconds on the play clock, run it from there so that it gets down to a minute 11. And then I imagine DuPage will use a timeout here on third and goal just to try to make a decision here. All right, so now they'll run it.
Yes,
and timeout will be taken minute 9. Yep.
No reason to take him with you.
And so they'll discuss this third and goal. So a lot of confusion there. It ends up third and goal, minute 9 left. We're keeping it here, and this has got to be one of the most important conversations that offensive coordinator Joel Beard has had in his coaching career. It's his first year on the DuPage staff, a DuPage staff with tons of experience and pedigree. He spent 16 years coaching football, but when he was a player, he was a 2-time national champion in basketball. So this is a guy with a lot of championship experience in big moments. And now Joel Beard, the biggest moment of his coaching career, as he tries to direct this offense for a go-ahead touchdown.
And in football, you're not drawing up a play like you are on the whiteboard in basketball, but he might be thinking that same way. We've seen the creativity offensively from DuPage this entire game. What will they come out with in a third and goal situation, but you're back on the 16-yard line? This is interesting.
Another coaching point, though, is you do have a game-tying field goal.
You do.
So you don't want to take a sack, because a sack will make the field goal. I mean, you're flirting with a sack here would make the field goal, a 40-something yarder. So then it's actually a really difficult field goal. So you don't want to take a sack. You don't want to turn it over because you can tie the game. There's a lot of things to keep in mind here for DuPage. A lot of ways for Rochester to make a play that could potentially make them national champions. 2 timeouts left for DuPage means they won't be able to stop the clock if somehow they turn this over. So the game's going to be decided on what happens over these next two plays. Third down goal, down by 3, national championship. Brazil. Lob one. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. Fabian Baez in the back of the end zone on a jump ball has taken the lead for DuPage with 1:03 left. Brazil. Baez. Is it back to back to back?
Just lost his defender at the back of the end zone, and Brazil trusting the size of the big man to go up and grab it.
Unbelievable stuff from Baez, his 6th touchdown of the season. He missed a one-hand grab for what would have been a touchdown earlier in the game. That one, though, jumping up in the air on a 3rd and goal from the 16 to take the lead for the Chaparrals. Snap is back, hold is good, kick is good as well. 33-29, DuPage leads. 1:03 left, quarter 4. Let's take a look at the go-ahead touchdown.
Pocket protects. The Yellow Jackets not bringing a ton of pressure, but all of a sudden you get one-on-one in the back of the end zone, and man, a great defender, Keon Hunter. He's just undersized. Let the receiver get behind him.
Felt like he lost the ball, too, on its way there. And
kind of tripping on the cleats a little bit. Wow.
And, you know, that might have been an ill-advised decision from Brazil because you can tie the game to throw a jump ball, but he said, I'm going to try it.
Hey, this is a national championship. You're here to win, not tie it, and send it to overtime. We know what college overtime is, and it is hectic and chaotic.
So what was when they took over on this drive, DuPage had 4 offensive yards in this second half. That offensive performance had been the catalyst for Rochester to score nearly 17 unanswered. There was a safety in there that didn't make it all unanswered. But to complete a comeback from 24-7 to take a lead with under 5 to play in the national championship game. DuPage's offense then awakens, and the backup quarterback, Robert Brazil, who had to take over last week for the starter Peyton O'Loughlin, might have just thrown a game-winning touchdown pass in a national championship game.
And you mentioned the safety. That's
Live sports. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive articles and tools. Top leagues and tournaments. Best
here for them tonight here in Glen, Ellyn.
The national championship was a classic, and for the first time in the history of the NJCAA, there's a three-peat. DuPage, 33. Rochester, 29. Jaden McGill, the highlight with 3 touchdowns. Fabian Baez with the game-winning touchdown catch in the back corner of the end zone from Robert Brazil. Congratulations to the Chaparrals, and shout out to Rochester for making this one of the best national championship games you'll ever see. I'm Lucas Moore for Keenan Dixon and Chase Neidig and the wonderful crew. I want to thank you so much for watching the NJCAA Division III National Championship here on ESPN Plus. DuPage, 33, Rochester, 29, and a three-peat celebrated here in Glen Ellyn.